If you've ever fully written out a text, thought you sent it, and then realized several hours later that it's just sitting there as a draft, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today is going to be the Thursday, October 2nd edition. And we have some news. We have some news on Oxy here. We have some Intel news to cover. The government is still shut down, so we're not getting the jobless claims that we were supposed to get here today. And we have our futures forward segment here today. So a lot of stuff to get through. We're going to make some money. We're going to make it the best Thursday that we can. Benzinga's pre-market playbook for Thursday, October 2nd begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. I'm very sorry to see that the Cubs kicked one away yesterday. Hopefully they'll be able to close the series out here today. We'll see if we end up getting it. But I'm excited because we get another day of trading here. There's money to be made. And we're going to break it all down for you. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. Dara is first today. Good morning. DVLT off to a good start already this morning. DVLT is, of course, Data Vault. That's actually on our movers list, which I will cover closer to the open. But Dara, it's good to see you here. You are first here today. Good morning. Azrar, good morning. Good to see you again. Peter, good morning. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Corey, good morning. I made a base hit on DVLT yesterday, but wished I had waited for a double or a triple. Well, if it turned into a strikeout, you would have a different feeling here today. So I'm just glad that you walked away with some profit. Perhaps you can find a setup again today and trade that. We'll see. Good to see you, Corey. EKS, welcome back. Musk becomes the first person to hit $500 billion net worth. Forbes list shows. I think he is going to be the first one to a trilly. We'll see how that goes. EKS, good morning. Good to see you. Zach, good morning. Good to see you. Big Dave, welcome back. Neville, good morning. Jane, good morning. Chuck, good morning. Cam, good morning. Brian, good morning. Welcome back. Michelle, good morning. Heads up, ADP non-farm employment change came in at minus 32K. It was supposed to be a positive 52K. We got that yesterday, right? We'll see what kind of impact that has here today. We did set a new all-time high yesterday as the market continued to melt up. So we'll see what kind of reaction we get today. I'll be honest with you, with yesterday being the first of the month, I think a lot of that was inflows. We have the Yom Kippur holiday here today. The old adage of sell Rosh Hashanah, buy Yom Kippur might be in effect. I would expect volumes to be a little bit lower as there are people out for the holiday here today. So we'll see if we continue to melt up here today. My gut tells me we probably do. I don't think we see a huge pullback, but we'll see. We'll stay nimble for either one. Joseph, good morning. Big Abees, good morning. Cam, good morning. Cad Monkey, good morning. Sam Bellity, good morning. Richard Judge, good morning. EB, good morning. JJ, it's good to see you again, man. Welcome back. Tarek, good morning. Mykola, good morning. Glenn, good morning. How about those Yankees? Yo, that was an exciting game yesterday. That was really an exciting game. We'll see how the rest of that goes. Day Trader, good morning. It's good to see you again. Kelly O, good morning. Durkis, good morning. Bogey's Adventure, good morning. Oscar and Kevin, good morning. Tara, good morning. Francis, good morning. Hockey Player, good morning. Let's print these fresh highs. You know it, boss. You know it. HP, good morning. Yes, that girl, good morning. Lambo Rolls, it's good to see you again. James, good to see you again. Shez, welcome back. All That Glitters, welcome back. Rooney, buongiorno, good morning. It's good to see you there. Philip, good morning. Is Roblox a good buy? You tell me. I don't have any Roblox. I don't have any thesis on it. You tell me. You cannot advise what you buy and sell, but let me know. Why do you like it? Why do you dislike it? What's the back and forth that you're doing on that? Charles, good morning. You're enjoying the show. Good. Let us know how we can improve. Remember, folks, if you ever have feedback on the show, good, bad, or indifferent, you can always email shows@benzinga.com to deliver that feedback. Our team is always looking at feedback, and whether it's this show, Benzinga Pro, or any of our other subscription products, we want to hear from you. Producer, if you could throw that email in the chat, that would be absolutely fabulous. shows@benzinga.com. We want to hear your feedback. Thank you for the kind words, Charles. Hopefully you enjoy yourself again here today. Shez, good morning. Producer, of course, good morning. The other Kevin, good morning. Facundo, good morning. Greetings from Argentina. Greetings. Hopefully the weather's good down there. Jabara and Bernhard, good morning. Les Ram, good morning. Ryan, good morning. Workstation, good morning. Robert Smith, welcome back. How you doing, Robert? What do you got on watch here today? It's good to see you. Zoo, good morning. Supri, welcome back. Good to see you. Kenneth, good to see you again. Gabriel, welcome back. Brandy, good morning. It's good to see you. All right, let's go ahead and get started today with our stock market today. All right, futures are mixed a little bit here this morning, but still edging to the green here. S&P futures up 0.24%, Dow futures just about flat, but down 0.08%, and the NASDAQ futures holding higher here by 0.54%, so just over 0.5%. As mentioned, we did set a new all-time high yesterday, and it looks like, at least in the pre-market here, we might see some continuation of that past the open. We did have the initial jobless claims on deck for today, but with the government shutdown, we will not be getting that data print here today. Let's take a look at some cues from the last session here. Gains in sectors like healthcare and utilities on Wednesday contrasted with losses in materials and financials as major indices recovered from a sluggish start to end in positive territory. The move higher followed Tuesday when stocks capped their strongest third quarter since 2020. The S&P 500 notched its first record close above 6,700, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained to post its second consecutive record close. For the time being, Wall Street appears to be overlooking the anticipated economic consequences of the government shutdown. The reality here is that it's really the length of the shutdown, not the fact that it's shut down. And with this only being day 2, seems to be some more time. Remember, some stats that we gave yesterday, the average length of all government shutdowns is 8 days. The potential for a significant impact on growth increases with the duration of the shutdown, particularly for businesses that depend on federal government's regular operations. From an economic perspective, the shutdown coincides with a precarious moment, as highlighted by Wednesday's closely watched ADP monthly employment report that Michelle had mentioned earlier. The data showed private payrolls unexpectedly fell last month, with the private sector shedding 32,000 jobs, missing forecasts that called for a gain of over 50,000. If we take a look at what's going on here, the Trump administration has reportedly warned that the shutdown could cut $15 billion from weekly GDP and leave 40,000 people or more jobless if it lasts an entire month. After the Senate rejected completing the government funding bills from both Republicans and Democrats on Wednesday, the next opportunity to hold a vote will be on Friday. The chamber will be out today in observance of the Yom Kippur holiday. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond ticked down again here, yielding 4.1%, and the 2-year bond yielded 3.54%. All right, we're going to go back. Before we do some insights from the analysts, we're actually going to go back and take a look at the SPY chart as we normally do. Here is where we sit. So yesterday we drew this resistance level at 667.34, which was the previous all-time high. We did punch through that and then close above that. So we did set a new all-time high yesterday, as mentioned. And it does look like today we are going to try and push higher. In fact, your high here in the pre-market for the SPY today is 670.35. We'll see if we do set a new all-time high when the market actually opens, and then whether or not we pull back or extend these gains. Some downside key levels to pay attention to. Well, we're definitely going to observe the 667.34 level that we broke out yesterday. If we're able to test that and hold that, I do think that that gives us some more room for the upside here. If we end up breaking that, well, we'll probably start looking at the bottom of these two candles. That's right around 662 to 663. Beneath that, we have the 20-day moving average, which we have been looking at on a daily basis for what feels like months now, and that value is at 659.88. You want to call that 660? Totally get it. Won't fight you on that. Those are going to be some of our downside key levels. For anyone in the chat that might have upside targets from whatever indicator, study, or gut feeling that you have, I'm definitely interested in those. And I would imagine the rest of the group is too. So let me know if you have any upside targets, I guess, or downside targets on the SPY. But this is kind of what we're looking at here today. One more thing that I just wanted to take a look at real fast on the morning update. We do have an IPO here today. CBK, Commercial Bank Group, is going to IPO here today. So if you're into that, or if that's something that you're looking for, maybe that's something to pay attention to. Also, I know we've talked about IMUX before. This has been a stock that has appeared on the scanner. We haven't really discussed this as like a long-term investment or swing, more of just kind of a short-term trade because of some of the appearances on the scanner. It is worth noting here, October 4th, they're going to be presenting at the United European Gastroenterology Week. So perhaps we get some more news, or perhaps it shows up on the scanner again. The only reason I bring it up is because we've looked at it before. We do have an event coming up here that might affect that stock. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at some insights here from analyst, the head of global fixed income strategy at Wells Fargo, Brian Reeling, advises investors to look past the current political impasse in Washington, suggesting a potential government shutdown will likely have a negligible long-term impact on the economy and markets. This is very much in line with some of the stuff that we were talking about yesterday, both for insights as well as statistics. While a shutdown could cause modest short-term pressure and volatility, the historical precedent shows such events do not typically cause systemic disruptions. According to Reeling, the biggest market impact from a shutdown would be the delay of key economic reports. This is particularly problematic as the Federal Reserve maintains a, quote, data-dependent, end quote, approach to monetary policy and is looking for data to support additional rate cuts. Now, part of me wonders if the Fed or the people at the Fed actually know what the data is because it was collected from last month, and I know they're not going to release it and all of that. But part of me wonders if they actually have an idea, at least, or an educated guess on what the data is. I don't know. I don't know one way or another. I'll react to whatever hand the market plays, but just kind of keeping that on the back burner there. A prolonged shutdown could affect the release of crucial data, including the September jobs report, the weekly jobless claims, the consumer price index, retail sales figures, and the producers price index. Without this government data, the Fed may need to rely more on private data sources such as ISM, ADP jobs, and Challenger layoffs to get a clearer picture of the economy. I also caught Gabriela Santos on CNBC early this morning, who said that there are some other estimations that you could make by taking data from the state level and then kind of creatively drawing a picture of what it should look like on the federal level. I have no experience with that. We'll see if we get anything about that, but that was something else that I heard floated that I found interesting here this morning. Reeling believes that a delay would not necessarily prevent a rate cut at the October 29th FOMC, but it does cloud the outlook. Now, I believe yesterday we were talking about how the CME Watch tool has that at essentially at 100% or very close to it. So it does look like the market at least is anticipating that. Of course, Trump has said recently that they're definitely going to get a rate cut in October. We'll have to wait and see. But I think just as investors and traders, the best move that we could make is staying prepared for either potential outcome. That normally is the case, and I feel like that's the case again here today. Reeling anticipates any move in the market to markets to brief and suggest that it could offer an opportunity for investors to reposition their portfolios. For bond investors, lower yields could present a chance for investors to reduce exposure to long-term bonds, a segment where his team holds an unfavorable view. Reeling currently favors prioritizing the immediate portion of the yield curve with maturities between 3 and 7 years. For equity investors, any market pullback can be used as an opportunity to add exposure to favored cyclical and growth sectors incrementally. Wells Fargo currently rates financials, information technology, and industrials as favorable. The firm also holds a favorable rating on the utility sector, viewing it as a way to gain exposure to the secular build-out of data centers tied to artificial intelligence. Reeling also highlights that the essential payments will continue during any shutdown. The government will continue to pay its debts, Social Security, and Medicare. The debt ceiling, having been lifted in July, is not affected by the current negotiations. He advises investors to focus on what he views as a constructive long-term economic outlook rather than the temporary, quote, shutdown fog, end quote. Meanwhile, Louis Navalier from Navalier and Associates said that since the private sector is perceived to get better than the government, or is perceived to be better than the government sector, believe it or not, quote, believe it or not, productivity may actually rise during the federal government shutdown, end quote. That would be a real shame if that happened. He also added that historically, a federal government shutdown does not hinder the stock market, and highlighted Bespoke Investment Group's data on what happened during the last 6 federal government shutdowns. Specifically, the S&P 500 after a week, month, 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year later was up a median of 0.6%, 2%, 6.6%, 12.1%, and 19.7%, respectively. So again, we will see how this all shakes out. Now, some more big news here that we are dealing with here this morning is going to be Warren Buffett and Occidental Petroleum. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway announced on Thursday it reached a deal to buy Occidental Petroleum's petrochemical unit, OxyChem, for $9.7 billion in cash. Shares of Occidental, ticker OXY, rose 1.7% to $48.54 in the pre-market. Taking a quick look at that now here, that's currently at $48.15. So it's up, about 50 cents? 40 cents from yesterday's close. Berkshire is already a major investor in Occidental, holding a 28.2% stake as of the end of June. This deal would mark Berkshire's largest since 2022, when it paid $11.6 billion for insurer Allegheny. OxyChem manufactures water treatment, healthcare, and other commercial chemicals. Occidental said it plans to use $6.5 billion of the transaction proceeds to reduce its debt. The deal is expected to close in the fourth quarter this year. One thing to note here is that this deal and this story is still developing, as mentioned here. So we are likely going to hear some more about that either today or tomorrow. We'll see if that has more of an impact on ticker OXY, but that's what's going on with that here today. That's the fresh piece of news. We actually got this yesterday in the after hours. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the chart here for Oxy. And I'm curious to know if any of you folks are actually trading any of these names. I know we've kind of talked about energy and how it fits in here. I know we talk often about Warren and the trades that he makes here. Oxy's been kind of rough, to be quite honest with you, most of the year, right? We had a high here in April, and it's really just kind of sold off since then, actually hitting this $35 level, a level not seen. When was that last seen? That was last seen in 2022. Now, recently, if we zoom into some of the recent price performance, since it actually pounded that low, it bounced pretty well, and it's been able to successfully recapture a series of these moving averages, most notably the 200, which it traded above and then back tested, consolidated a little bit, and now is starting to push away. So now we have a deal on the horizon. It sure looks to me like $50 would be the next upside level here. Going back to August of 2024, I've got the volume point of control here at about 50.40, 50.39 is marked on the chart here. And I have several highs not far above that, 52.5, and then also 53 and some change, maybe 53.25 there. So some pretty obvious levels here if Oxy continues to trade higher. Let me know if any of you are in this. Buffalo by Bicycle here says, I'm holding Oxy and I trade it often. Okay. What do you think of the news? What's your breakdown on this? What do you think this means going forward and for any particular trades, whether they're new or existing trades? Well, let me know how you're looking at this. Okay, let me go back to the next story here. This is regarding Intel. Boy, Intel has sure been in the news quite a bit lately. Intel shares are trading higher on Wednesday after the senator reported, after Semaphore, I beg your pardon, reported that the company is in early talks with AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, as a foundry customer. The discussions are in early stages, and it remains unclear how much of AMD's manufacturing would shift to Intel if an agreement is reached, or whether a potential deal would involve a direct investment by AMD. Remember, Intel was asking Apple for this just a few days ago. People familiar with the matter noted that no agreement is guaranteed. Intel has recently secured investment dollars and public backing from the White House, NVIDIA, and SoftBank, and is also in talks for support from Apple. Adding AMD as a customer would mark yet another boost for the chipmaker, which has struggled to keep pace with Taiwan Semiconductor and advanced chip-making technology. AMD currently produces most of its chips through TSMC. Intel, meanwhile, has been courting customers and investors for similar foundry deals in recent months. So again, going back to pro here, let's take a look at Intel. This has been a huge winner. Kind of surprising, I suppose, but this has been a huge winner after holding that really firm $19 support level. You can see what we're looking at here on Intel. The way I feel about this is that we're likely going to trade higher here. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we test this trend line. Intel here in the pre-market is down by about 0.5% at 35 3/4, but I can absolutely see this trading up to 37 and 75 cents, perhaps even 40. Intel seems to be at least popular now, I guess is the right word here. Word of note here, this is actually flashing an overbought reading with an RSI of 73.72. So we'll see if Intel slows down here. Chart actually looks great. Does look like we're going to try and test that trend line. Let me know. Same deal. If any of you like Intel or if any of you are looking to trade Intel. Now, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but I wanted to kind of bring this up again because the fourth quarter is upon us. And as October kicks off, Wall Street is stepping into what is statistically its most rewarding quarter of the year, with seasonal optimism likely tied to year-end consumer spending through holiday sales. Data from the past 3 decades shows strong seasonal tailwinds for equity markets from October to December. On average, the S&P 500 rose 1.52% in October, 2.62% in November, and 0.93% in December. Yesterday, we shared some stats compiled by Carson Research's Ryan Dietrich regarding October being a very, very good month. There was a qualifier on that the previous several months had to equate to like a 10% gain. And that's when October really shows some outsized gains. November, primarily a slightly better month than October. The S&P 500, as tracked by Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF VOO, delivered an average gain of 5% and a median return of 6.65%. Meaning that this 3-month period alone accounts for more than half of the index's typical 9% annual performance. Even more striking is the consistency. The index has finished higher in 26 of the past 30 fourth quarters and is currently on a 6-year winning streak. For this reason, Bank of America analyst Paul Ciana said in a recent report that the fourth quarter tends to be the most powerful time of the year for stocks. According to Ciana, technology stocks are the strongest seasonal performers in the fourth quarter, rising 6.64% on average and finishing higher 80% of the time. That's interesting because we had a great breakout here in NVIDIA recently, printing some new all-time highs. Part of me wonders where the upside target is for that. We'll see if we can get any of those. Let me know if you folks want to take a look at any of that. Healthcare stocks are also consistent, while energy and real estate lag behind, averaging 2.43% and 2.18% returns, respectively, reflecting broader seasonal weakness in oil and limited real estate activity in the first quarter of the year. Now, I do have some stocks here to watch for October. With the broader index benefits from favorable seasonality, some individual stocks have historically shown even stronger performance in October. And here's a closer look at some of those. We're going to start with Google, Googl. I guess you could trade whichever one that you prefer, but Googl. October is Alphabet's top performing month, with shares averaging an 8.35% gain, closing higher 71% of the time. Its best October came in 2004 when shares soared 47.1% in just its second month of trading. The worst was a 10.3% decline that occurred in 2008. Microsoft checks in at number 2 on the list. It also sees its best monthly performance in October, averaging gains of 4.78% with a 67% win rate. October 2007 delivered a massive 24.95% gain, while October of 2008 brought a steep 16.3% drop. Now, Netflix, this is the one that's interesting to me. Netflix is in the news right now. Netflix is currently pulling back. I definitely want to know what buy levels y'all have for Netflix. Without a doubt, of the stocks on this list, this one to me is the most appealing trade, especially in the fourth quarter. We're going to have more NFL games being played on Netflix, just like we did last year. And that catalyst, I still personally view that catalyst as important because that was the first ever catalyst that got me to subscribe for Netflix. It only lasted a month, but I will likely do that again. Netflix's second strongest month is October, trailing only January. Over the last 30 years, the stock has gained 7.1% on average in October, winning 70% of the time. The standout was a 70% surge back in 2003. 70% in a month, with notable gains of 27.6% in 2007 and 26.7% in 2016. United Airlines, which is another, so we kind of talked about maybe some of the airlines being a negative trade on the back of the government shutdown. United Airlines makes this list as well. Since going public in 2006, October has been United's best month with an average gain of 9.5% and a 58% win rate. Last October, shares jumped 37.1%. The worst October performance occurred in 2009 with a 29.4% loss. Peers also show strength this month, like Delta Airlines, ticker DAL, which rose 7.1%, and American Airlines, ticker AAL, which was up 9.2% on average in October. Checking in at the end of this list is Oracle, ticker ORCL. October ranks as Oracle's second best month after June with an average gain of 3.8% and a 63% win rate. Its strongest October came in 2002 with a 29.64% rally. This month holds added weight for Oracle following a 25% jump in September of 2025, making it one of the best performing large cap stocks of last month. So let me know if any of these are interesting to you. I'm curious on all of these trades. I'm especially keen on any trading ideas that you folks might have for Netflix. Okay, and I think there was just one more thing that I wanted to mention briefly here. And then we'll go ahead and start our futures forward segment. This has to do with Open, which is a stock that we've been looking at quite a bit recently. We've been trading this pretty actively here on this show. Open Door stock climbed 2.23% in today's pre-market session following a preliminary approval from the U.S. District Court. The settlement approved on September 11th pertains to the case of Jera versus Polyapatia et al., according to a press release and a recent SEC filing. The proposed settlement is a derivative action also encompasses related laws pending in the U.S. District Court for the District of Delaware and the Delaware Court of Chancery. The parties in the case took part in global mediation on February 7th and tentatively agreed that Open Door Technologies would implement specific corporate governance reforms. Open Door and the parties involved reached a full settlement releasing all claims. On June 27th, Open Door signed a stipulation of settlement, and the Jera plaintiff filed a motion for preliminary approval that day. Open Door Technologies has been in the news for various reasons. The company's stock has been on a roller coaster ride, that's putting it mildly, frankly, with significant fluctuations in its value. In September, a legendary hedge fund manager, George Noble, called Open Door Technology, quote, a total clown show, end quote, despite the stock rallying over 640% since its all-time lows in late June. However, the stock experienced a pullback after a midweek rally, which was ignited by a U.S. Census Bureau report showing August new home sales soared around 20.5% from the prior month to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 800,000. More recently, Eric Jackson, we've covered this quite a bit in our show as well, the founder of EMJ Capital, drew attention to a stock purchase by Representative Cleo Fields with a social media post page reading, quote, paging Nancy Pelosi about Open, end quote, referencing the congressman's new investment in Open Door Technologies. So looks like we're getting some of that now too. Let me know if you're still looking at Open, if you want to trade this, and what type of slant you take on this. Are you bearish? Are you bullish? Or otherwise? All right, folks, let's start up our Futures Fever segment right now. Oops. All right. Good morning and happy Thursday, David. How you doing today? You're muted, boss. Okay. Well, David figures out the sound there. I'm going to go ahead and put my screen back up here. I do want to really quickly talk about any of the other plays that we just talked about. Are any of those?
Check.
There we go. There's David. David, good morning. Happy Thursday. How you doing?
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
I was worried, man. We got a government shutdown, and I was like, is David Green shutting down? Because that's no bueno.
We got a government shutdown in a market that makes all-time highs again.
Yeah, the stats say that's likely to happen.
Yes.
In fact, the longest government shutdown, we rallied 11% in that period back in 2018.
So we got another 8% to go if we stay shut down for a little bit more.
What do you got on deck for us today?
Right.
What's the futures market telling you?
Yeah, we got a couple of little things going on. We're going to talk about some stocks today too, Ryan. I know you guys are looking at Nimbus and Tesla and a couple of things, so we can look at that also. Absolutely 100%. Gold in focus this morning, guys and girls. Everybody knows gold has been on an absolute tear. This morning we had a really nice setup. I think I have a little lag in my chart, so let's let them catch up here. Good morning, everybody. DG, the OG for TA. Thank you, Buffalo. All right, so we were watching gold early this morning. We actually had a really beautiful setup. And guys, this is a technical analysis that I use. I'll share it with everything that I use at some point during the day. But when we're going up, I'm looking for resistance levels. And one of the technicals that we use is a pivot point. So I use different moving averages, a 9, a 15, a 30, a 65, and a 200. And my pivot points. And we see gold rallied up to exactly 39.17 this morning. That was our pivot point, got a little bit stretched out up there. So we put a short on up there at 39.17. And when we're trading gold, each contract we do, when it moves a point, it's $100. So we threw a couple of contracts on there. We took 3 points out of it, and it was a $300 trade to get our day started. So we're looking at gold now. We have our 65 EMA coming in about 39.04, and then we have our 200 EMA, which is the strongest of our indicators, down at 38.97.50. So I have a little order hanging out down in gold. You'll see it up on my screen at 38.97.50. Hopefully we pull back down to that level and get a bounce from there. Good morning, Adolfo. Dust. We can look at Dust. Dust, we had a nice swing trade. Right, for those of you who don't know, anybody who's a member of our room, I tweet out swing trades, options trades, stock trades when they set up, mostly swing trades. Dust we've been in and out of a little bit. This is the ETF for gold. All this thing does is go down over time because gold goes up over time. But there have been some opportunities. I'm looking to get back into this thing if we can get around $10. Look at this chart. All right, this is a chart of Dust. All it does is go down because if we look at gold, it's going to be the exact opposite, right? Now, gold might be one of the most extended things that I have seen in my 30 years of trading. Let's go to a weekly chart in gold. All right, this is a weekly chart of gold, okay? I have very rarely seen a weekly chart in gold, spiders, anything that gets up to an 80 RSI on a weekly chart, right? So if we look on a weekly chart, last time we got to an 80 RSI up here in gold, we were about, let's see what the price was up here. The high was 28.01, and we pulled back 150 points. Now we're approaching this 80 RSI again. We are, and guys, these are my trend lines, okay? So there's a 9 EMA, 15, 30, 65, and 200, and they go in order of strength. And this is basically what I look to do all day on a shorter time frame, just looking for things to hit my technicals. Right now, we are 260 points above my closest moving average in gold. Am I short for a long term? No. You would have got blown out of the water and blew up every account that you had. But it is extremely, extremely stretched out. So the cheap way to do it is to buy a little bit of that dust. You put it away. If and when we get a big pullback, that thing will move a little bit. And this is the daily chart, okay? And if we look at this daily chart, at some point in the last year and a half, we have always pulled back to one of the trend lines. And our first trend line now is like 100 points below where we are right now. So we're due for a little pullback in gold. And the way to play that is to buy a little bit of that dust and just put it away. Timing wise, you know this, Ryan, stocks can go up high longer than we can stay solvent, whether it's Tesla or anything, right? The other thing we'll look at is our ESs. This is the S&P 500 futures making new highs. All they do is make new highs every single day. So technically, we have a little resistance level up here at 67.91. That is a pivot point. That is up 10 points from here. When we are trading futures, guys and girls, I look for at least a 10-point move to hit one of my support or resistance levels when we are trading futures. And the reason, guys and girls, that we want everybody to be trading futures if they're not. because of the low barrier to entry. You can open up a futures account, and Apex has a sale right now where you can open up an account for $33. And you can start your trading career with as little as $33. So that's why we want most people. We are probably about 80% futures as it stands this moment. 67.91. Let's put a little order out there. So what I'm doing in the morning now, guys and girls, is just looking for levels on my charts in the futures. We'll look for some stocks too, because we do trade stocks, Ryan. We love trading Tesla. We love trading Nimbus and NVIDIA and all that stuff, especially when there's nothing going on in the futures. So on the buy side in the ESs, let's see if we have a technical down 10 points from here. That would put us at about, we'll go 66.63. That is our 200 EMA. That is our strongest moving average. That's down 15 points from here.
All right.
63.
David,
yeah,
let me bring Peter on here and see if he has an update here. Peter, good morning. Happy Thursday. How you doing today?
I'm great. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. What do you got for us today? What are you seeing out there?
You know what? Look, we've had, and it's absolutely amazing. On the last day of the quarter, we had this massive $4 billion buy program coming into the exchange, which is kind of baffling for the last day. Normally in a market, in a quarter where you've got nothing but upside, you usually would have profit taking and not huge buy orders coming in. But it's almost as if there's just this massive influx of interest and excitement about just putting money to work in the market. So that was the last day of the quarter. Yesterday, the first day of the quarter, the market did not engage the government shutdown at all. It really didn't care. I mean, the market tells you what it thinks of all this information. That's a big deal. But yesterday on the close, we once again got a $4 billion buy program on the close. So the amount of money that's being put to work and going into the market. Normally, in the beginning of quarters, you do have a big influx on the buy side, but it's almost, the market is not engaging this government shutdown stuff. How long it stays on is the question. But you know what? Historically, normally, the last time, I guess, each year, they usually, in the witching hour, they usually make some kind of a deal. Obviously, the agenda around that right now is not happening. But you know what? Once again, record highs across the board in the market yesterday. So it's baffling to me how much. I mean, we're seeing good volatility, solid volume, 1.3 billion on the tape in New York yesterday. Just crazy irrational enthusiasm around the markets. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's going to pan out for trading futures and trading even a lot of the equity names. So,
Peter, I got a really quick question for you here. Are you expecting any type of change in volume with the Yom Kippur holiday here today?
You know what?
Lighter volume or anything?
To be honest, no, not at all. I mean, we've been talking about seasonality through August and September. It never showed up. We had tons of volume. We did not have any weakness in the market at all. August, September closed out in super positive territory. And, at the end of the day, sure, I'm sure most of the Jews are not at work today. But at the end of the day, there's a lot, people are probably covering them. And historically, yes, there's been a little bit lighter than usual volume on Jewish holidays. But I don't think we're going to see it today because there's so many moving parts to the market right now that I think the flow is going to be there.
Okay, and then let me ask you one more follow-up question. We talked yesterday about the potential up move in the market being related to inflows for the first of the month, and sometimes that can really kind of carry over to a second or maybe even a third day, depending on how much buying there is to do. You spoke about the buy program right there at the close. Is that part of the reason why we're looking at a positive move here in the pre-market this morning? Do you anticipate that to hold here today?
I do. Yesterday we opened down, right? Basically that emotional reaction to the fact that the government shut down and people weren't clear how much that was going to impact markets. But almost within the first hour of trading, it completely reversed. And we spent the rest of the day going towards record highs, which is where we closed. And so, the influxes on the close have been sizable coming the last 2 weeks of that quarter. And as I said to you, normally in a quarter that's really bullish, you would normally see profit taking at the end of it. Guys, funds are judged and graded on what their P&L looks like at the end of the quarter. And sometimes they want to lock in some of the profits because they don't know what's going on. They don't know what the impact, how long this government shutdown is going to last and the impact on the market. They don't know about tariffs. Still, we're starting to see a lot of impact on the consumer, on consumer spending, consumer confidence by tariffs, right? We are seeing a huge spike in costs and expenses. Some are being absorbed by the companies, some are not. Walmart, Target are absorbing some, Amazon also absorbing some, and then some are passing it on to the consumer. The volume we've seen is significant. It's really, look, beginning of every month, you're going to see allocations come in on the buy side. But when you've got so many potential looming things that could dislocate the market, at this point, it looks like nothing can dislocate this rally. It is absolutely baffling. And they're not only just buying equities and futures, they're buying everything that's not locked down. I mean, as David said, the spectacular move in gold is extraordinary. Normally, gold is a flight to safety. When markets go up, people are putting more pressure on gold. They're buying gold. They're buying equities. They're buying everything that's not locked down. So a sizable volume.
Okay, now I open this question to both of you real quick. With the big kind of the melt up almost is what it feels like here. Do you just kind of try to play that momentum? Do you wait for a reversal to short? Do you wait for maybe a pullback to then buy at a support? How do you deal with a market that seems like it just keeps running and making new all-time highs every day?
I'll let David, you want to answer?
Yeah, as far as trading is concerned, it works both ways. Yesterday, we used to have some technicals that we look at. Yesterday, we use a opening range breakout, Ryan, and we watched that at 9:35 and 9:45. And if you watched that yesterday, in every single stock, gold, ESs, futures, once we broke above those 9:45 orbs, we did nothing but go up for the rest of the day. That was it.
Yep.
So those are the opportunities we look for to get long and just stay in those trades until it tells us not to be in those trades anymore. And sometimes that's one of the most difficult trades to be in. Is the one. Sometimes people are scared that they're making too much money and they want to get out of these things very, very quickly. But one of the most important things when you're trading is to let your winners run, get out of your losers very quickly. And those opportunities don't come a lot, right? As a day trader, volatility is our friend. And it's much more difficult to trade a market that's going in one direction. There's no question about it.
Yep.
We try to scalp in and out of certain things, unless we can catch those trends, in which case we just want to turn off our machines, put our stop orders on, and go do something else for the rest of the day. I want to just comment on something that Brian put in the chat a little bit while ago. And he said, it's not as easy as David is making this seem. I am not trying to make this seem that it is easy when I'm talking about futures or trading of any kind, right? The fact of the matter is that most people who are trading, whether it's stocks, options, futures, or whatever it is, are not succeeding in this. This is not an easy thing to do, whether you're trading futures or stocks. It takes time. It takes a system that you find, whatever that is for you, that works for you. It takes patience. It takes discipline. And the fact is, when we're talking about futures, the bottom line is, yeah, people go through 10, 50, 100 of these accounts before they can figure it out. But most of them, when they're opening up these futures accounts, are gambling, okay? Because you can open up an account for as little as $33, and the worst thing that can happen is you blow up that account and you open up another one. That's not what we do. That's not what we teach people to do. I will share with you guys my P&L. I do it all the time. I will show you what I've done over the last 50 days, and anyone who's followed us and follows our methods has done the same thing. But I just don't want anyone out there to think that this is easy in any way, shape, or form. We're not, me and Peter do not promise anybody this is a get-rich-quick scheme. If anything, we go the opposite way. And we tell people how difficult this is and how hard it is to make this work. You know, people come to me sometimes, Ryan, and say, Dave, look, I'm tired of my 9 to 5. I can't take it anymore. I just want to trade and try to make a living. And I will tell them in 100 billion%, do not do that. Never, ever. Stop doing something that's taking care of your family to try to figure out how to make a living day trading. I mean, it's hard. It's difficult.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And David and Peter, you guys would be very happy to know that that is something that we have been sharing here since we started the show. In fact, that's one of the primary reasons that we started the show, is because this is in fact hard. And the thing is you look on FinTwit or whatever, and you see people making tons of money and driving Lamborghinis, and the real world doesn't work like that. So real good stuff there with you on that 100%. And really quickly, just as kind of anecdotally here, David, worked at 9-to-5 jobs that I absolutely hated. I worked at multiple banks. I won't name them because I'm not trying to disparage anybody here on a lovely morning, but I worked for multiple banks, and at this point, I'd rather pry my eyes out of my sockets with a spoon than go back and work for a bank. And I had the exact same feeling that you were just describing that people talk to you about. I cannot stress enough how correct you are on that. Don't give up guaranteed income in order to day trade. Instead, layer it on. And if you are thinking about making that move to full-time trading, make sure that you have enough to cover the downside, because believe me, there will be downside. There will be dark times. And if you're not able to cover that, then you're going to be scrambling. Now you're introducing emotion into your trading, and you have a host of other possible mistakes.
100%.
That extra stressful point will really weigh on the mind, right? If you're trading, if you're trading and knowing that if you don't make any money, it's going to impact whether you put food on the table. That is never going to work, right? I mean, that kind of stress is the whole thing. Look, if you go into the nooks and crannies of David's trading strategies, where let's say, for example, you buy 100 shares of XYZ, right, and then you put in a stop down 1% or the average daily range, and the stock moves, right, and you take profits when you can, not when you have to, and you're protecting your downside. You move your stop up to break even. That level of confidence, when you made a little money and you're protecting your downside risk, that is how you build confidence as a day trader. To sit there and worry that if you lose money on a trade, it's going to impact your lifestyle. In the old days, that's the whole thing that changed with the democratization of the trading community. Before COVID, before Webull and Robinhood and all that, you needed to be an accredited investor to trade the stock market. What did that mean? That means that when your grandfather opened an account at Merrill Lynch in the 50s and 60s, he had to prove that if he lost 100% of that money, it would have no impact on his standard of living for 5 years. That was the prerequisite to open up a trading account. Well, only the 1% of the 1% can ever say that. Right. Now, all those barriers are down. That's what's so exciting about what we do, working with Benzinga, accessibility, funding, how we do at Wall Street Global, educating people. This is a matter of hitting singles and doubles, trying to make a little bit of disposable income and enjoy it and have fun. And as David said, this is not easy. Don't anybody ever think that's the case. And more than 80% of people who try and do this do fail. That's why we try and teach the discipline and consistency of doing it. So that's the bottom line.
I love Enzo. So you're saying there's a chance.
I was just going to say there is a chance. There is a chance.
Listen, I have probably, I'm going to say 20% of the people who are trading with me on a daily basis are doing this and making it as their main income, right? But most of them are doing it for a long time, okay? And they study their craft, right? We have a course, and by the way, our futures course is done, guys. It's going to be introduced next week at wsgta.com. It's 7 hours on just futures. That's all it is. 7 hours on futures. Next time when we come on, we'll give you guys the link and everything to show you what's up there. I'm always going to invite everybody here every time I come here. And we had a great response last time, Ryan. I think I had like 40 or 50 people from Benzinga that came into the trading room that are in the trading room with me this week, learning about futures. We don't charge anybody for that. We'll pop up my email again. You guys can come starting tomorrow and hang out all next week and watch us trade futures and stocks. We do both. Okay, so.
Okay, on that note here, let's actually talk about some stocks. First of all, folks, in about 13 minutes, right at 9 a.m., I will break down the movers for you. 13, good morning. It's good to see you. Remember, 13 will also help give some of his levels in the chat. David, I wanted to start with a particular stock here. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, but I think you can handle it. You got your big boy pants on here. What do you see in Netflix's chart? Yeah. The reason I bring this up is because obviously it's in the news right now. It's one of the few stocks that seems to be pulling back. So perhaps this can pull back down to a tradable level. Tell me what you see there for Netflix, NFLX.
Yeah, so whenever I look at a stock, when someone first asks me about it, the first thing I'm going to do is go to my daily chart. I want to take a little longer view at it to see where we're at. So let's go to our daily chart in Netflix. And yeah, I mean, listen, because of the news and stuff that's been going on, it's absolutely underperforming the rest of the market. I mean, this has not participated in any of the rally we've been having. We got earnings coming out, not until the 21st of this month, right? So we got earnings coming out in a couple of weeks. Daily chart. I mean, we just had this gap down yesterday on that news. Let's go to a weekly chart. Okay, here we go. Weekly chart. We're approaching a little support level. Where are we trading right now? Let me take a look. NZN. We are trading at, Netflix. We are trading at 1164. Okay, so my first support level, and this is my 30 EMA, which is a fairly strong support level, 1143.32. So that is down. Where are we? 1164. That's only down $20 from here, right? This would be my first level that I would call an important support level. Okay, we'd be testing this 30 EMA, for the first time in a few months. So not that far away from here, 1143.30. So I will write this down, right? At least I might even go like this, guys, and put a little marker in my chart, create an alert. And I'll go to Netflix, at or below, and we'll go 1143. This way, it'll just give me a little ding if we get to that level. And there's my marker in my chart. This is think or swim, guys and girls. This is one of the great things about it. You can put markers in and alerts just to let me know if we get to a certain price in the stock. Let's go monthly just to get a little longer view. Okay, here's a monthly chart. All right, so we're coming to a couple of really big levels in Netflix. Our monthly trend line is 1124. Again, that's only 40 points from where we are right now. So I would call the most important level right now this 1124. That is our 9 EMA, or this trend line that it is basically held for a year. So this would kind of be, I don't want to say my line in the sand, but if we hold this level, we could see a nice bounce off there. And if we break that level, it could set up a short down another 200 points. So that's what I'm seeing in Netflix.
Okay.
A couple of very important levels coming up. They're pretty close to where we are right now.
Okay. Let us know if you got a trade on that. Netflix is a popular one. There's lots of money to be made there.
Yeah, I would be looking at my 1124 level. That would be a spot that's down 40 points from here. I mean, that could happen in 2 minutes. We're down $6 right now, right?
Yep, exactly.
It's only down a little bit from here.
That actually makes a lot of sense, David. I'm looking at the chart here. The levels that I got are about 1148. And then maybe this area of about 1100, maybe I would call this 1092, which is your 200-day, to about 1100. Those to me look to be the next really big support areas.
So we're not far off, right?
Nope, not at all.
The way I would play this is options, right? And even that's going to be expensive in Netflix. The options are going to be really expensive. But, if we get to those levels, I would buy something 100 points higher, right? And give it a little time. And that's how I would play it. Most of us can't afford to buy Netflix, the stock.
Or at least not a lot of it.
Right. Exactly.
All right. How about Tesla? Just kind of sticking with the stock theme here. How about Tesla? It's super popular. We actually saw a lot of option flow for that this week. They have delivery numbers coming out too.
Yes. I think next week the delivery numbers coming out.
Yep.
Okay. Let's go right to the daily chart. And again, I think we're getting a little stretched on the daily chart. But this is a nice pattern that we saw in Tesla, right? This is a daily chart. We had all this consolidation here. Right. Let me just get the chart. I think it's lagging a little bit. Give it a second to pop up there. All right. Look at all this consolidation that we had in Tesla. And we pushed against these highs of about, trying to see what it was, 440, 440, 440, 440, 440, 440. And yesterday we broke out above that. Right. So this is what we call a little bull flag. Okay. We're up. We're sideways. We finally break out of that range. And yesterday was the day, and we spiked 20 points above that range now. We're not going to have any resistance in this thing, right? What's the all-time high? 488.50. So not that far away from it, right? A little stretched on a weekly chart. Monthly chart, we're very stretched like every other stock we're ever going to look at. Now, if I'm day trading Tesla today, let's take a look, okay? And I'll tell you guys this right now. I do not have good luck trading Tesla. You guys tell me in the chat, is there a stock, Ryan, is there something that you trade all the time and it just doesn't work for you? Because I have a couple of them.
Yeah, right? I do have a couple of those. And honestly, David, until about last year, Tesla was at the top of that list. No matter what I seem to do, I seem to take losses on that.
Me too.
Changed a little recently, thankfully.
Yeah, that's good. But it's just something, and I don't trade it, but there's a lot of people in my room that do. So I look for technical levels. So let's look at Tesla right now. We're trading at 467. All right. So If I'm looking as a trader today, I would be looking at Tesla for a little short up at 472. That is my pivot point. That is my resistance level. And we have a little support down at 462. We have the previous day close at 459. And my spot where I would try to buy a little Tesla is down at 455. That's down 13 points from here, and that is my pivot point. So that's what I'm looking at technically today. If we look at Tesla over a long-term chart, right? What is this? This is like 3 years ago. It's taken almost 3 years, a couple of years to get back to these levels. But check this out, right? If you are a swing trader in Tesla and you were looking for a place to be an investor in Tesla, we pulled back and hit our 65 EMA. This is back in April and never really broke that. That was about $215. Check that out. That's why I believe in technical analysis, especially when I'm looking at longer term stuff. And I have recently been, and again, part of this is because of my age, Ryan, but I have been recently selling out of some of my longer term stuff. Just looking to get a better spot, maybe to replace some, which we will get at some point. I can't tell you when.
Yep.
I can't tell you how, but markets don't just keep going up like this without having some kind of little pullback, and then you can get back into some of the stocks that you love. Even Buffett sells his long-term stocks from time to time.
They try to do whatever they can to hold on to them, but they have to. Izzy here saying, Ryan, at 1100, would you buy Netflix? Yes, that would absolutely be one of the support levels I'd be looking at. I'd love it if it overshot the 200-day and then recaptured it within 3 trading days. That to me would be even more bullish than a tap on 1100 and a potential bounce. Good question though, Izzy.
Yeah, and if you're going to be buying something like this, if you're buying the stock, you leg into it, right? I'm not going to put, like Ryan said,
that's a really good point.
Pick an area, okay? So I like the 1124 area, maybe down to the 1070, 1080 area. And you leg into it. You don't shoot all your bullets in one shot, especially in a stock like this, where 1% is $10. So it doesn't make sense if you're going to start getting into a stock like this to shoot all your bullets at once. You leg into it. And guess what? If the first place you buy it happens to be the low, beautiful. Then you make a couple of bucks. But if it's not, you want to leg into it so you don't have any money left to keep buying it if it goes down, especially if you like something long term, which is what this would be, right? Cam, that I love that. The waiting is the hardest part. I tell that to my traders every single day, all day long.
In fact, David, let me ask you, what do you think about this take? If you're doing something 10% of the time and waiting 90% of the time, you're probably doing it right. What do you think about that?
100%. Listen, here's the bottom line, okay? I use my technical analysis. We have a system that works for what we do. We're around 77, 78% for the year. And we have journaled every single trade that we've ever done for the entire year. That doesn't include some trades that we break even in. Do we have losing trades? You bet you know what we do, okay? I know it tells you they don't have losing trades. It's just lying to you. We have losing trades. We probably have one every day. Well, not every, whatever. We have losing trades. Everybody does, okay? But this whole thing is about patience and discipline, right? Like I'll give you an example. I was looking at gold this morning, okay? And we started going up towards our pivot point. Now, let me wait until this comes up there, right? A lot of people, when they're watching the stock, a future, I don't care what it is, it doesn't really matter what it is. Their inclination is going to be to start doing something before it gets to your technical level. And if you did that at any point up here, you would have been losing money. I'm not doing it until it hits my technical level, period, end of story. And that's why we spend most of the day doing it. Look, there are some days we walk in here and don't have any trades. None. Zero. And that's a big reason, Ryan, and you know this too, why a lot of people can't do this. Because they have to be involved in every single thing that they're looking at. And they can't wait, and they're not patient, and they're not disciplined. Here's the bottom line. If you have a system that works more often than it doesn't, okay, that's part of it. The next part, because listen, having an 80% success rate doesn't mean you're a successful trader all the time. Because I know people with an 80% success rate that they'll make on 8 out of 10 trades, and then the 9 through 10 trades, they lose 5 times as much as they made, right? So just because someone tells you that they have an 80 or 90% hit rate, whatever that is, that doesn't even guarantee you're a profitable trader. I know people with a 40% hit rate that make money. because they're getting a lot more out of their winners than they're losing when they lose money.
And they keep those losers small. Risk preservation, capital preservation, top priority.
100%. Once you learn some kind of system, and nobody has the holy grail, then it's all about trade management once you get into the trades.
Yep.
We are big believers. When I get into a trade, I don't care what it is, stock, whatever it is, I'm taking some quick profit right away. This way I have a free trade. Okay. I don't care if it's gold, NVIDIA, Tesla, doesn't matter what it is. I'm taking, if I get into an ES trade and I take a point or two profit, I know I can't lose money on that trade. Then we'll try to get as much as we possibly can out of the rest of the trade. And that's how every trade should be. Once you have some money in a bank, keep that money.
Yeah.
Don't turn it into a losing.
Exactly. And remember, unrealized gain is not yet a win. It's a good position to be in, but it's not yet a win. Okay, real quickly here. Izzy says, Ryan, can you ask about levels on Amazon? Yes. David, we're going to ask you about that here in a sec. Give me a couple of minutes. I'm going to run through some of the movers here, and then I'm going to turn it back over to you. We'll start with Amazon.
I'm going to take a little break.
Okay, we'll also, when I'm done with this here, we'll also bring on Peter and see if he has an update from the floor from us. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to run through some of these. It won't take me very long at all. Let's go over to our movers tool. We're going to start here with the first one. It's going to be CIGL. This is one of the big movers that we have here this morning. Let me actually get the chart up here. Here's what it looks like. All right. So again, 13 gave you his breakdown on this. Stock was just above 250 yesterday, popped to about a high, just shy of 550 here in the aftermarket. It's really been bleeding here today. It's made a couple of attempts to reclaim the VWAP and really hasn't given us the confidence for that yet. It really does need to recapture this VWAP in order for this to give us a really good trade. We'd also like to see some volume expand here. What's going on with CIGL here? They launched a 2025 equity incentive plan, and that is apparently causing the stock to trade up by nearly 60% here today. That news came in the after hours yesterday. Quick look at the short interest on this. 3.37% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. That comes on an average 100-day volume of 2.8 million. Today, we've seen 15 million already, and the float on this is 1.4 million. So CIGL here, definitely going to be one of the stocks that is going to be on deck here today. Remember, the big thing that we're looking for here, as 13 mentioned, a recapture of that VWAP. We'll see if we get that. Next one here is one that we should be familiar with. This is ticker TSHA. This is Taysha Gene Therapies. Stock was around $3 yesterday. Looks like we ramped here in the pre-market, hit about 474-ish there. And let's see what we have here for news. What's actually driving Taysha here today? Gene Therapy announces an FDA breakthrough therapy designation and provided positive regulatory update on one of its drugs for Rett syndrome. And it's on track to begin patient enrollment in this quarter of 2025. So stock responding positively here today, up 30%. Again, another quick look here at the short interest. This one much higher, maybe some squeeze potential here. 17.76% of the float shorted. It's also worth noting that has actually recently ticked up from the prior read that we had. So it looks like there's more folks by about 3 million new shorts in this. Days to cover here of 10, folks. So this one definitely high short interest. That days to cover comes on a 100-day average volume of 3.3 million. Yes, today we've traded just shy of 17 million, but still possible squeeze potential here. Now, the one thing that's kind of going against this is the float. 244 million shares in the float there. It is a little bit thicker than some of these other movers that we want. I do see that Tesla is moving. It looks like on those delivery numbers. Izzy, we will definitely go back to that. I also saw that you guys were asking about Pfizer. So what we're going to do here is when I'm done running through some of these movers, we're going to take another look at Tesla. We're going to get Amazon levels, and I'll add Pfizer, ticker PFE, to that list as well. We'll have David do a breakdown on that also. All right, so TSHA up by about 30%, high short interest, but a high float there. Nonetheless, keep this one on your list. Next one we have here is going to be ticker DKI, and this I don't see any news for. No news. It's a new IPO. Doesn't look great, but we'll see where this ends up going here. Straight out of Hong Kong with this one, so y'all know how to deal with this. Sorry, let me fix the chart there. Oh, for heaven's sakes, come on. Sorry about that. Here's what it looks like. Here's what's happened before. Be very, very careful. This one is a no touch for me, but it is on the movers list here. Negligible short interest, less than 1%, 1 day to cover. Average volume of 1.2 million. Today we've traded 15. Float on this is 11.3. Next one that I have here that I wanted to mention is I got two more, and then I want to talk about Ondas real quick, and then we'll wrap this segment for the time being. Next one here is going to be ticker IVD. This is Evada Solutions. This is up by 25.74%. We had a PR yesterday morning. That is the most recent piece of news here. So it actually looks like this might be a little bit of a continuation from the news that was reported yesterday. They launched a Salience mobile command powered by NVIDIA with the Texas police. That was your piece of news. Float 2.77 million. On average, the stock is a ghost town today. For whatever reason, we're already trading 31 million shares. So keep an eye on this one here today. Quick look at the short interest on this. 2.17% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. Last one here that I wanted to mention was going to be Pally. And the reason that I'm mentioning this is because this was a big winner from yesterday. This actually gave multiple trades throughout the day. And it looks like we might get some continuation here today. Remember, this is definitely going to appear on day trader scans that revolve around relative volume, as it put in a huge number yesterday. Sure looks to me like 160 is going to be your key area above. We have the VWAP here at 150, so that would be your first downside level. I'd also pay attention to about 140, which was a pre-market low, as well as a consolidation area from the after-hours session yesterday. Pally here, short interest reminder on this one, 5.47% with 1 day to cover. Today, it's traded 2.2 million shares. On average, it trades 5, and the float here under 10 million at 9 million shares. All right, last stock that I wanted to talk about before we ask David for some more levels and check in with Peter is going to be Ondas. This is obviously a show favorite. A lot of people are banking off of this, and I love to see that. We are still long and strong on this one. We've sold about, I would say, 80% of our position. So we're in what David just talked about in terms of letting your winners run. That's the phase that we're in with this stock right now. So I'm not going to necessarily respond to all the ups and downs. My next sell target on this equity is $10. We'll see if we end up getting there. Ondas places an initial order for WASP attributable drones from Rift Dynamics for distribution to the U.S. defense markets. And they're going to sell that through the American Robotics subsidiary that we've talked about. I wanted to see if there were any numbers in here. Unfortunately, there really isn't. They do talk about here producing 500 initial units. And then they go on to say that the distributed network provides Rift and Ondas with the ability to rapidly scale to more than 20,000 units per month worldwide within 6 months of the order. To me, this is the key part of this press release here. I've told you for a long time, the story's been intact on Ondas for years. The stock price has not matched what the story ends up being. And a lot of this news actually needs to trickle through and hit the bottom line. Thankfully, we got the best quarter in the company's history, last earnings, and it looks like they finally turned the ship around. This PR here is telling you that they should be able to scale up the drone production. This is exactly what we want if we want this higher. More drones, more sales, more revenue for the company, hitting the bottom line. That will actually help the stock instead of some of these PRs that just say, hey, everything's great and it's going to be better in the future. Let's see it hit the bottom line. Quick look at the chart here on Ondas. You can see we did pop here in the pre-market. We had kind of a rough day yesterday, but if we look back at the daily chart, look where we're at. We basically pulled right to the 9 EMA, folks. We basically pulled right back to the 9 EMA. And if you observe what this has done on the daily chart previously, it has used this 9 EMA to push higher. Let's see if that's exactly what we get again here today. Okay, that's your first rundown for movers. Remember, folks, I will be checking in on these throughout the entire show here today. Let's go back to David. Let me see. Is Peter? Okay, sorry, I might have gone a little too long there. Sorry about that, David. I do, however, while I was doing that, I've got 3 stocks queued up for you here. So if you have an update on futures, that's great. But let me know if you want to take these. We've got Amazon, a quick check-in on Tesla because the delivery numbers are out and it spiked higher, and then also Pfizer, which was in the news from yesterday.
Got it. All right. Let's just go over our futures orders first, and then we'll tackle all those 3 stocks. So very quiet, guys. Things are quiet right now. Gold is almost pushing a double top right now. So we got a couple of orders out in gold, up on our previous day high, which would basically be a double top from yesterday, which is 39.2270. Got a little order out there. And then we got a bid down here in our 200 EMA. That's what we're looking at in gold. S&P 500 futures, we have an offer up at 66.91. That is our pivot point, up 10 points from here. And we got a bid down on our 200 EMA down at 63.63. So that's all we're looking at right now in futures. Oil, because oil started making a little move this morning. Got a little bit of a spike down in oil. So we threw a bid in our oil down on our pivot point at 60.55. So kind of quiet in the futures market right now. Yes, Tesla. Don't bet against Elon, guys and girls. That's the bottom line. Jeez Louise.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. You know, David, you had asked me earlier about Tesla, if there was ever a stock that I just can't seem to win on. And that was it. And you know why? Because I thought very early on, I was like, how is Tesla this expensive? The fundamentals don't make sense. And I was like, this looks like it needs to come in. Well, guess what? It never came in. It kept going up. It split. It went up more. And that's the end of that chapter.
Yeah, Amazon too. I mean, it took Amazon 15 years to grow into its PE ratio. And everybody was saying, oh, this is ridiculously overvalued and blah, 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 blah.
And then they turned on the profit jets, and that was the end of that chapter as well.
Exactly. So we had a, $12 spike up on the original, when the deliveries first came out. We had a little pivot point up here at 481.80, so call it 482. We didn't quite get there. Missed it by like 3 points. I will be watching Tesla now today to see if we can set up for a trend. Maybe we can go sideways here a little bit, build on that, and start heading back towards those new highs again. We're only 10 points from all-time highs. I think the all-time high is 488. So we're not far from that right now. And Tesla, believe it or not, for as high a price stock as it is, the spread in the stock is not horrible. It's like, 20, 30 cents. And sometimes it's even tighter than that.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know, we'll take a look. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hold on one sec. Come on. Okay, here we go. So why is it not showing over there? Take my word for it. The spread in the stock right now is only about 13 cents. There we go. Yeah, the spread in the stock right now is about 13 cents, which isn't bad. So we'll keep an eye on that today. If I'm looking to trade this thing, my first support level would be around 471. And then about 466. I will not trade this on the opening. I don't recommend anyone trading this on the opening. Let it settle in and do its thing. If anything, I hate to say the word short, but around 482, I would probably, do a little short just for a trade.
I didn't hear that, David. Just for the record, I didn't even hear that.
For a trade. The problem with Tesla now too, I mean, pre-market the ATR is over $2. So if you're trading stocks, guys and girls, and I know you guys trade and by the way, great job, Brian, in that ONDS. That was beautiful.
Thank you. We're still.
I want to ask you something in a minute.
Yeah.
I know we don't have a lot of time before the opening. Pay attention to the ATR in your stocks, okay? Because that's what I'm going to use for my profit target and my stop loss. So if I'm trading a Tesla and I'm buying it, my profit target is going to be between $1 and $2, and my stop loss is always going to be $2. So that's how I base my stop orders on. How do you find the stocks that you're looking for? Do you have filters? Do you have watch lists? Is it news that brings you to these things? I'm just curious how you find these stocks.
Yeah, so it depends what it is. So for the day trading stuff that we do here on a regular basis, I have a very, very mechanical system. I'm looking for intraday relative volume that is 300% the average. And what I mean by intraday relative volume is that I'm comparing apples to apples, not apples to oranges. So if the average volume is X between 10 and 10:05, I want to know if a stock is trading at least 3 times that from the same time frame, from 10 to 10:05. And that's one of the reasons why I use Benzinga Pro, is because it has a host of those relative volume filters. The other thing that I'm looking for, that's like the I would call it the crux of the scan. The other thing that I'm looking for there is expanding volume. That is a huge indicator that this is a time to enter. If the volume starts to expand and starts to just increase candle over candle, normally on a 5-minute aggregation there, that is a good sign that there's some more upside to go. Now, the other thing that I'll use here is obviously the technicals, like you talk about. If a stock is at a support level and it starts to curl, starts to have an increase in volume, and it's already been flagged as having higher than average relative volume, to me, that is a better opportunity to make a day trade. Now, as far as Ondas goes, this is the story. So when I talk about long-term and swing trading, there has to be a story angle there that I can relate to. This is why I miss some of these swings. I'm not a doctor. I don't know about biotechnology all that much, so I miss some of those unless I'm kind of reading through something. But a story that I understand, drones are something that I've been on since I built my first radio-controlled airplane when I was in high school. So drones are something that are particularly interesting to me. I absolutely understand the defense application, and I thought that I uncovered a stock that was kind of on the bleeding edge, if you will, of this. This is a company that is extremely undervalued and is going to have a pretty good run rate. And so what I would do is I would just kind of watch how the stock trades, what the company does. Unfortunately, with Ondas, it had a balance sheet problem that it had to resolve, and that took about 1.5 to 2 years. But when it comes to that, there's got to be some type of story on there that I'm looking for, and then I will obviously monitor earnings reports, what the company is doing to see if it works. I'll give you a contrarian one. I just talked about Ondas as a winner. You were correct earlier when you were saying how everyone has losers. I got a huge one. I'm a Chicago guy. Have you ever heard of Portillo's, the hot dog place?
Yes.
Okay, it's delicious. Unfortunately, the stock is garbage. The stock is absolute garbage. The management team is terrible. They have no idea what they're doing. The story there was they have this delicious, they've never closed a store. Portillo's has never closed a store. And they were trying to go through a 600 store expansion based on where they get online orders from. So they went to Texas and Arizona first, as there are a lot of Chicago transplants out there, but the stock couldn't get out of its own way. The story I thought was great. The performance of the stock was less than ideal. That trade ended up not working. Does that answer your question? Is that enough detail for you?
Answers my question.
Okay. Okay. And I wanted to see, is Peter joining us again here? Let's see. Oh, he's okay. He's not here. Oh, so anyway, all right. Did you want to cover Amazon or Pfizer?
Yeah, we'll take a look in a sec.
Okay.
Mike, the reason that, let me just, okay. So someone in my room asked me in the ES, why are we not bidding on the VWAP and we're going down to the 200 EMA? Not quite a 10-point move to get to the VWAP, but it is now. So let's raise our order up to the 67.71. And then we'll go look at these stocks for the opening. Now, we have the big unemployment numbers tomorrow coming out, right? So
I don't think they're going to come out with the government shutdown.
Oh, that's right. They
were scheduled to, but I don't think we're going to get them, David.
Yeah, we might not. They already canceled. All right, thanks, man. Yeah, I was going to say that might make things a little muted today, but if anything, we can get a little more volatility today. All right, let's look at well, we did Tesla. We kind of looked at Tesla, right?
Yeah, Amazon and Pfizer.
Let's look at Amazon.
Here you go, Izzy. Here are your levels.
All right, we're looking daily chart just to throw something out there. 213 would be a really nice spot. That's our 200 EMA on a daily chart. Okay, down at 213. It's $8 from here. Another one that hasn't really participated in this whole big giant rally up that we've had. So 213 is my daily 200 EMA. I like that. If we look yesterday, guys and girls, okay, yesterday, we hit our 30 EMA on a daily chart. Wow, check this out. That was at 217. So yesterday, if you went to your weekly chart in Amazon, we exactly bounced off a nice support level at 217 and gave a nice $6 trade off that. So I'm looking at 212 and then 205, the next real levels. But if we were here yesterday morning and we were watching this come down and hit that level, it exactly hit the 30 EMA and bounced $6 for a trade yesterday. So those are a couple of levels that I got. Pfizer, not a big mover, right? It has its moments, but this is not something that I will ever day trade, a Pfizer. So if I'm going to do
I don't blame you.
Well, I mean, the ATR is like 30, 40 cents, right? So if I'm looking to day trade a stock, if it doesn't have at least $1 ATR where I have some room to go in there and make money, even if it's 50 cents or whatever, not something I'm ever going to day trade. I mean, this had a beautiful, look at this. I mean, this had a huge breakout the last couple of days. Not something I would ever short either. It's a $28 stock. It's not something that I'm ever going to short. The only thing I will say here is yesterday, okay? Here was your key to get long. I mean, this was your signal. If you look at all this consolidation we had, we could not get above this 200 EMA for 3 weeks. And once we cleared that 2504, boom, we are off to the races. So sometimes we can use a level that it's pushed against several times.
Yep.
If it finally breaks above it to the upside, we're buyers. And if it breaks below it to the downside, we're sellers. So that was your key right there and I don't think we're getting here, but look, our weekly level is up. Who knows if we get there? Our weekly level is up at 31.70. So kind of stuck in the middle with everything. Yesterday, it gave you the signal to get long above that 200 EMA. Look, if you're a shareholder, you're in a lot better shape now than you were 2 days ago, right?
You got that right.
This stock is down from $55, on a monthly chart. Where are we here? 29.22. That's not far away from where we are right now. 30 EMA on a monthly chart is 29.22. So, if I was in this stock, I'm not going to short it there. But if I was in it, I'd certainly be taking some profits up there.
Okay. Good stuff there on Pfizer. All right. I think we got Peter back. No, not yet. Okay. I just want to check in because I want to get another.
If he ain't back by now, he's not going to be here for the opening. He'll come in right after that.
Okay.
I'm going to text him, see if he can pop in. Usually he's not that busy on the opening. Let's see.
All right. And then, folks, so we ran through a lot of the movers there. By the way, your Wall Street Global Academy, if you are interested, that QR code on the screen, go ahead and give that a scan. We're trying to make that easier for you. So thank you for sharing that, David. Appreciate that.
No problem. Yeah, also with my email, guys and girls, send me an email. Come hang out and trade with us next week. That's dgreen927@yahoo.com.
I'll throw that in the chat there for you so it's easy for people to grab.
Appreciate it.
All right. Looks like Peter's back. Let's check in with him and see if we can get an update ahead of the open. I think he's drinking something, so I'm going to give him some grace here. Peter, welcome back. You got an update from us from the floor?
Absolutely. So right now, we have these new handhelds. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's a new technology that we're being given on the floor of the exchange to show the volume that's coming in for the opening auction. The New York Stock Exchange's biggest auctions are the opening and the close. That's where we do a majority of our volume. One of the things I do is, and unfortunately it's not something I can disseminate to the general public, is I get to see the opening notional dollar value of the opening bell and the closing bell. So right now, the market is trading up 20 handles away. That's based on opinion. If you look at the SPMI, it's up 20. It's based on just the irrational enthusiasm in the market. In order for the market to open where it's trading away, I would need $400 million to buy to take it where it's trading away. Right now, we have $100 million for sale. Okay, so that's kind of why you'll see very often big discrepancies when the market opens. It makes that breakout move on the upside or downside. It's based on the volume that comes into the NYSE for the opening. Okay, so right now, if it's up 20 away and I have dollar notional value for sale, what I would be doing is I would be shorting the market at 9:31 time for a small fade and do that. That's kind of one of the arbitrages that I do as a broker on the floor. Unfortunately, it's information I can't disseminate out to the general public, but that's one of the things we see for the opening bell. So right now we see a little bit of sell volume, but you know what? Look, this market nothing is dislocating this rally, which is quite incredible. The government shutdown, they don't really care. Anything, the tariff issues, we don't care. The weaker economy with the jobs number and all that stuff coming out, we don't care. The fact is that the government shutdown is preventing us from seeing the jobless numbers is kind of curious, right? And everybody thought that would have some major impact in the market. We'll see between today and tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But for some bizarre reason, it's almost as if the market is sort of Teflon. It's going out in a world of its own. People are buying. You know what? At the end of the day, the quickest money is really in the futures and in the equities right now. That's where people are putting their money, and obviously in gold too. So as David described, if you look at the chart of the SPY, if you look at the chart of even some of the Mag 7 names, which are just like, NVIDIA's had a great after being a little bit beaten down, as like Palantir was for a couple of weeks there. Yep. They're all recouped that, and they're heading towards newer highs. I did an interview with Dan Ives, if everyone should know who Dan Ives is, #1 tech analyst in the world, works for Wedbush. He just came out with a new ETF called IVES, his top 30 picks within the AI space. He also just became head of the board of a company called 8Co. They just issued a world coin based on the technology of the retinal identification, which apparently is going to be the way of the future, that we're all going to be identified by our eyeballs, right? And so that's also interesting technology. But his belief is that we're in the second inning of a 9-inning game in the big AI space. There's trillions of dollars of CapEx money going in, whether it's Microsoft, Oracle. I mean, if everyone watched Oracle over the last few weeks, they had that insane day where it was up $100. It wasn't because of the earnings. It was because they committed $600 billion to data centers and to AI. And we're seeing that with some of the big names in Mag 7, that they're all putting big money aside. We've seen it with Meta. We saw it with Microsoft. We've seen it with all these massive firms are putting and committing so much capital to AI that it's a friggin' revolution.
Okay, real quick, Peter, I got two really quick questions for you.
Yes.
Number one, please put in a good word for Benzinga and our show for Dan Ives. I would love to have him on to talk not only about 8Co, but also AI in general. We actually quote Dan Ives quite a bit here, so please put in a good word.
I speak to him every day. We have a show together on YouTube. I will put in a good word and try and get him on your show.
I would absolutely love that. We have another question here. It's a little bit more tongue in cheek, but can you confirm or deny whether or not you sleep at the New York Stock Exchange?
First of all, I don't sleep. My mother told me that I can. My mother said I can sleep when I die. So if you think I do sleep, I don't. But yes, no, I don't. There is a point in time where I do leave this place, and they escort me out of here, and I do return every morning. But look, I just celebrated 40 years here. David and I started here in 1985 together. We both started at the bottom of the rung. He was a squad. I was a teletypist. We worked our way up. David retired at 39 after Spear, Lees, and Goldman made one of the good deal for Dave, bad deal for Wall Street. They paid $4 billion for it, and it was worth $200 million a couple of years later. But you know what? The floor of the stock exchange is still the most relevant, only human interactive marketplace in the world. What differentiates us from NASDAQ, let's say, are market makers. And I hope your audience understands that David always talks about having a stop order on every trade we do.
You got anything else out here besides what we have?
And the bottom line is everyone is scared to a lot of retail people are scared to put stop orders out because they think the market makers are out to screw them. Trust me when I say Dave was a market maker. He was a great market maker in Bank of America, a lot of great stocks. They're not. They are not there. They do not watch your stop orders. They do not mess with your stop orders. They're there to basically create a smooth and active market. They're way too busy to be messing with retail people's stop orders. So use a stop order on every trade you do. Protect your downside risk at all times.
Okay, really good stuff. And by the way, congratulations. I think if anyone makes it 40 years in any career, especially the market, that is due for a hearty congratulations. So congrats to both of you, David and Peter. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, David, did you want to share your charts again here right ahead of the open?
Yeah, sure.
And Abel here, really quick, I wanted to highlight this. We are a big fan of taking both sides here. Abel here saying, stay away from the retinal scanning. It's not good for the eyes. I've heard this quite a bit. This is actually one of the things that I wanted to ask Dan about because I'm sure him and his team have looked into this and done the risk to reward here. Abel, this is a good point. I've thought about this. You also go on to say this is Big Brother on steroids with no privacy. I understand exactly where you're coming from on this as well. Also one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it on. So just wanted to highlight both of those things. All right. What are you seeing here right ahead of the open, David?
Not much. We're kind of just sitting. Gold is sitting. The ES futures is sitting. Not much movement in the futures that we're looking at right now. Okay. We got our orders out, all limit orders. Patience, discipline. One of the things that we want to do, guys, especially either futures or stocks, okay? The orders that I have out, and this goes for any order that I have out ever. If I have a level, like I'm looking to short gold up here at 39.2270, we want this to hit that as quickly as possible in any trade that we do. The faster something gets to one of our levels, the more effective the trade will be. Okay. And a lot of times, if I'm watching something and it kind of crawls up to one of my levels, we will just cancel that order because we need speed. The faster something gets to one of our technical levels, the more likely it is to reject off that level or support that level and then turn in the other direction when we're just scalping. So the orders that we have out now are all good. They're a little far away from everything that we're trading. Let's check out Tesla. All right, Tesla's pulling back a little bit, down $9 from where it was. So the first spot I would be looking at in Tesla, again, and I'll put a little marker out. It's down on my 200 EMA at like 463. If we pull back, what is that? 8 points from here. You know, they got all excited about deliveries. Who knows what happens from here? And we let things set up, guys and girls. I am never in a hurry to do anything when the bell first rings.
That's really smart. That's really smart. We're a big proponent of perhaps waiting and letting stuff settle out of the open. I'm thrilled to hear that you think the same thing. That tells me we're right over the target.
Yeah, not only that, I will cut my size in the morning too. So
absolutely,
when you're trading futures, okay, when I'm trading the S&P 500 futures, there's two that we look at, the minis and the micros. The ES mini, the ES is the mini futures for the S&P 500. When you trade this, every point that it moves up or down is $50. Okay, so if I buy one contract, it moves up a point, I make $50. The MES,
there's your bell.
Okay, the micros, the MESs is only $5 every point it moves. So a lot of times we'll just chill out and do the micros when the bell first rings and just let the day set up. All right, so we're getting a little pullback here. Our first order is down at 67.72 in the ESs. If we spike down another 3 points from here real quick, we'll take a look for a little trade. Let's see if we get that spike down right now. So we have an order out. We want to buy it on our VWAP at 72. Okay, right now it's 73.25. I want this to hit this very quickly. If it doesn't hit this very quickly, we're going to cancel. We'll go down to our next level. And we made a low of 73. So check this out, guys and girls. We missed it by 1 point, and it just bounced 2 points. That 2 points is what we're looking to take out in profit. So we're going to wait, be more patient. We'll go down to our 200 EMA, which is 63.66. A lot of times we miss trades by a point, a half a point, a penny, right? So 63.66.
And real quick here, TSHA, one of our movers here. This was a very quick defense of the $4 level. A good pop on the expanding volume that I just talked about that we're looking for. Took us right to VWAP. That would have been your first sell point there. We're actually pushing above VWAP now. That's ticker TSHA. David, I'm actually going to step away for 1 second, use the washroom. I'll be right back, boss.
Yeah. So check this out, guys and girls, right? We missed our 72, okay, by 1 point. And we just went up 5 points. If we got one contract there at 72, that would have been $250 on one contract. All right, gold's coming our way. Let's take a look at gold. Yep. All right, MGC. Take some profits, guys. We got in at 22.70. Boom. Just covered some for 1.5 points. Let's go 21.50 and try to clean it up for a quick trade. Boom, 2.5 points on gold. Perfect, guys and girls. Great trade. Great way to start the day. I'll show everybody that trade in a minute. Okay. I want to show you guys something. Okay. So we put our gold order at 32.22.70. It went 50 cents above that and gave us a $2 trade off that level. So I want to show you, okay, this is my apex, right? So I had 4 contracts up there, and I just made $885 in the first minute of trading in the day. Boom. And it just went down 5 points from there. So I had a few contracts. I took 3 points out of it. 3 contracts, 3 points is $900. All we want to do is do that once or twice a day. That's all we want to do. So I'll explain to you exactly why we did that, guys and girls. Okay. That was our previous day high. That set up as a resistance level. Absolutely perfect, spectacular. So, you know, when we hit something like that very early in the day, and right, I was just showing everybody in the futures, we made one trade in gold, exactly hit our level on the short side, and put $885 in the bank.
All right. You know what that means? Ring that register, baby. Great trade off the open there, David. Way to go.
So we will kind of be in a little chill pill mode now. Let things set up. And that was gold. And I explained, Ryan, the reason we did it was because it exactly hit our previous day high. It only went a tiny bit above it. Yeah, let's look on the long side of gold now. If we get a pullback down to our 30 EMA, guys, 39.1160, that's where we will be. Take it nice and slow. 39.1160. And we'll look at some stocks in a couple minutes also. By the way, great call on the one that you guys had. Let's check the ESs, see what we're doing. Now, again, we missed that 72 by 1 point and went up 10 points. So we're kind of sitting in the middle of nowhere's land in the ESs. We'll leave our orders out there where we are for now, up at 91. Cancel that. Let's take a look at Tesla, see what Tesla's doing.
Tesla pulled back from those delivery numbers, and Netflix pulling back. Remember, we talked about 1,100. Netflix at a 1144 low here.
Okay, that's about the first level that we had. I had 1143 was my first level, so we're kind of breaking that a little now. And then we got 1124, and then down in the 1100 to the 1090 range that you mentioned, right? So we'll see if Tesla can spike all the way down to our 200 EMA. Just to have, we'll start taking a little look at it down there. Again, I hate trading Tesla, but 463.50 is the little number. You can see I have one share out just to see if it holds that level. Otherwise, we're not going to do much in there.
David, if you're in chill mode here, would you mind taking a look at ticker APLD and seeing if there are any levels that stand out to you? There are several people mentioning this one here in the chat. It's spiking right out of the open. This has been another one of those AI-related plays. You see anything here that gives us any type of tradable setup?
What was the ticker?
APLD, Alpha Papa Lima Delta.
Yowza. Holy mackerel. I don't. I mean, we spiked up $2. We got over an 80 RSI. The only thing I might have looked for is maybe a far from moving average trade up there. Let's go daily and see if we have any levels.
Okay.
Breakout. Day 2 of a breakout. And they have earnings coming up shortly. Yowza.
Dave, circle.
Yeah, that is day 2 of a nice breakout. I mean, the stock looks great to the long side. Oop, Tesla just hit us. A little marker anyway. Let's see where we're at. 463.40 was the level. It's kind of sitting right there. I'm not even going to do anything with Tesla, guys. If it bounces up, a buck from here, take some profits. I will start buying a little at 459.50. Let's put that out. We'll put a little bit of an order out down there. 459.50. And again, guys, I am not a big Tesla trader at all. I hate it, to be quite honest with you. Mike, you okay down at that 459.50? Yeah, cancel gold for now. Guys, cancel everything that we have out. Please give me new levels in the futures in my room, guys and girls, if you see something. Let's take a look.
Amazon pulling back here, too. Just curious what you see on Amazon. Approaching 219.
What do you got, Mike?
60 half.
60 half. All right, we'll take a look. Amazon, let's take a look. Amazon, we're spiking down. My first plot, I really like it, is 217.51. That would be my pivot point. Let's put a little bit out there. I like it. We'll buy a little down there in Amazon. That would also give us a nice far from moving average trade. Amazon, I'll put at least a half a lot out if we get down there. 217.60. 217.60. Boom. Let's get that out. Boom. Chakalaka. Good. Gold. Let's take a look at gold. Gold, we like 390.01. I'm kind of looking at gold, guys, at 3907, guys. 65 EMA. Let's put a little gold out. MGC. 3907. That is our 65 EMA. That would be down 15 points from the top. We'll take a little look there if we get there.
Really quickly, TSHA, that mover that we hit, this is pulling back to VWAP. 424, if it holds it there, 450, your next resistance area, 475, your pre-market high. That's TSHA. Market Sniper, let me know what you're doing here on that trade. Are you buying this if it comes into VWAP? Are you waiting for it to try and hold that there? Let me know.
ES's, guys, 67.66. Yes, we like in the MES's, 67.66. 67.66. Good. 67.66. Let's pop that out there. Good. Okay. Boom. Gold. What are we doing? See, again, when we're looking for, and this could be Tesla, Ryan, it could be anything, but I want it to get to this level as quickly as possible. That's the bottom line.
Izzy here saying, Ryan, D-Pro, please. D-Pro, remember, Dragonfly had a huge PR on that Army contract the other day. 990 to 10 is your clear resistance area on D-Pro, Izzy, and we are about to test that right now. So I'm not trying to buy breakouts right now in the environment that we're in, especially with the market pulling back here from the high that it made right out of the open. But 990, 10 is your resistance area. Let's see if we're able to crack that or if we turn around. If we turn around and come back to VWAP and hold it, that actually might be an all right setup there, Izzy. Good stuff there on D-Pro. Let me know what you see on that.
All right. What else we got going on? Let's see. Gold still coming in our direction, or we bounce? Still coming, guys. We want gold on this pop down. Gold don't hit us on this pop down. We cancel. Okay, let's get ready. MGC.
BMNR spiking. That was another one of the room plays here. That is 56.33 as that is hitting a high right out of the open. I don't see any tradable setup on that. That thing just rocketed out of the open.
Futures are coming in a little bit here, guys and gals.
Yes. Yep.
Guys, gold came close. Let's cancel. I don't like it now. We'll go down lower. Let's just take a chill pill now. Definitely 200 EMA in gold, 38.99. Let's put that out just to have something out there. 38.99. Boom, chakalika, laka, luka, laka, luka. Okay, let's look at the futures. Okay, futures were out on our 200 EMA, guys, 67.66. I like that. Let's get it, see if we can get it there. The faster, the better. Gold, did gold hit 07? Philippe? 07.10. So here's a trade, guys, that I canceled, okay, because it came close to hitting it. Then it hit it, and it went up 3 points. That's going to happen sometimes, right? That's just the rules that we trade. But look at that 65 EMA. That was absolutely spectacular. Guess what? I canceled. I'm an idiot. Happens all the time. Happens 10 times a day, Ryan.
You got that. I say the same thing to myself all of the time. And it's great to see you using the 65 EMA too. That's something that we use even for some of these smaller guys here. Speaking of one of the smaller guys, CIGL. This is one that if you were patient, maybe you had a setup there off the 200 EMA. Speaking of that 65 EMA that we just talked about, I have that at 398. That would be another target on the upside here. That and the 9 EMA would be next. That's at 387. VWAP there at 410. So if this holds here, CIGL, maybe more room up to 410 off that 368 spot. It actually dipped beneath that and reclaimed it there. That would be the spot that I would trade that against.
All right, so here's another trade, guys, that we just missed. Okay, we were bidding 66 on our 200 EMA and the ESs. We missed that by 1 tick. It got to 66.25 and just gave 3 points. So again, here's the gig, right? If we would have bought 2 contracts, we missed it by a quarter, and we made 3 points. That would have been $300 in about 30 seconds. Missed it. Next trade. All right, we bought some real Tesla now. My first 10 shares. Tesla is getting the absolute smack-a-dack or whack-a-dack. Let's see what we did. We bought the previous day close down there at 459. All right, no big deal. 455 is the next real level in Tesla. 455. Let's put a little something out there. What did I tell you about Tesla?
Big time reversal there on Tesla.
We should have been shorting it. That's the bottom line. All right. What did we get hitting? I got hitting something. The ESs maybe?
ES is still pulling. That's at intraday lows at the moment.
Yeah, now we just hit that 65 EMA. Next spot we got, guys, is 67.57, the previous week high. Okay, here we go, guys. Tesla, guys, we can start maybe looking for this far from moving average trade down here now. If we hit the pivot point, Mike, 455, I think we'll start looking a little far from moving average trade in Tesla. Okay, let's go to the ES. Home market's coming in pretty good here, guys and girls. ESs, let's go again, guys. Everybody, just take a chill pill, relax. Market's getting a little hurt here. 67.57 is our next spot in MESs. Let's put that out. 67.57. Everybody, take a breath. Exactly right.
Deep breath.
Relax, breathe, chill out. It's all good. So now we're bidding down on our previous week low.
Marcus saying that the bottom is in on Amazon. All right.
Let's look. Let's see. Now, let's get our 15-minute orb up. Switch to that. We'll start looking at our 15-minute orb. And we'll see what happens here. Tesla just broke 455. All right, let's see if we can get the smackadaka. All right.
Amazon, Marcus, that was an unreal call. Amazon already bouncing off of that. You have a almost full point bounce on your hand right there at the trough there. Marcus, I actually tried to get filled on some of this and it just ran away from me. Excellent job. Great call for the chat there on Amazon.
Guys, the 455 in Tesla was the major home run. Let's take some profits up here. Just went up $2.50 off that level. Boom, chaka-laka-laka.
On this big
volume pump, guys.
Wow. Big volume pump and a recapture of the 8 level there on Ondis. Looking good. Amazon continuing here, looking like it's going to retest 220 AMZN.
Guys, everybody in the room get Tesla off that pivot point. It just paid $2.50. Exactly hit the pivot point. It broke it by 30 cents and paid $2.50. Nice job, everybody. Good job in the room. Okay, let's go back to gold. Nothing in gold. Let's check the ESs. Nothing in the ESs. 66. Would we have got stopped out from the 66? No, it only went down 3 points, but it's okay.
Good morning, Unpopular Truth. Daniel, great call there on TSHA. This is number 2, move number 2 now. This one expanding volume away from the VWAP. 450 is that resistance area that it tapped there. Remember, we've got 475 above that.
Daniel, did you get a little Tesla down at that level? That was a very nice spot. I know Daniel just posted, watch Tesla at this level. That was perfect.
That was a really good reversal level that he just called out there. Excuse me.
But I want everybody to look where it came from, right? That's our pivot point. I mean, that was a huge support level. We just bounced $6 off that level. $6. So, and again, I'm not shorting Tesla ever. But
you know what? That makes 2 of us, David. That's good because I'm good on that.
The trend line is up at 465. We'll call it. And that would be straight up 10 points. And that would be our 90 MA, which is the trend. So just for yits and giggles, I'm going to put a little order out there if we spike up to 465. After a 10-point move, we'll probably be due for a little pullback again. Okay. And I just put markers out in this for the people in my trading room. But when I'm putting 10 shares, 20 shares, because I'm not a big stock trader anyway, I like to stick to the futures. I had just got a private message with someone in my room. I won't say who it was, but he bought 500 shares of Tesla down there and just took $2,500 out of the trade.
Pretty good move. Real quick, let me see if Peter. Oh, nope, he left. Sorry about that. Okay, Peter Tuchman has joined. Let me see if Peter's available there. Peter, how you doing? I got news for you. Orbs, the Dan Ives 8Co stock, that's ripping right out of the open. How about that?
You know what? I'll tell you. Just think about the technology of the company, right? So Orbs was actually a stock with a different symbol recently. Then they did this merge, and that's when the ORBS started. It came out originally the first day that Dan was made these head of the board. It went from 1 to 80, right? And then the stock sort of, they changed. They spun off. I guess they changed the name. But basically, the technology behind it is the retinal identification of humans, which apparently is going to be the future. Yeah. Most things Dan touches actually do quite well. He's obviously the big tech guy. his ETF is something, everyone. I'm not recommending it just because I don't recommend things, but I would definitely look into it. It's his 30 top picks within the AI space, and a lot of them are sort of secondary and tertiary derivatives of the Mag 7, right? So there's a number like Rigetti and Soon. There are a number of names that sort of make the inner workings of data centers and stuff, which actually have a lot of life in them.
Hey, guys and girls, we just saw a big spike up in BMNR.
Yep.
I know a couple of people mentioned that we got up to the 5650. I'm going to put a little bit out to start at 5450, and what's the bottom of the orb? 5410.
Market's open.
Market's open. It's been open. 5450 in BMNR down to 5410. We'll buy a little stock. 5450, 5450. What am I putting in wrong? 5450. Small, and we will add down at 5410. Let's see if we get a little pullback in this thing.
Amazon, by the way, pulled back a little bit. Looks like it went right towards the VWAP there. Marcus, still great call on that reversal. You had that timed correctly. Great. David, congrats to you in your room. For those people that hit Amazon, looks like it is pulling back here, but that sure gave a full point off that trade. Really good stuff.
Excellent. So what we're looking for now, guys, on our, you see this little box I have now, right? This is the 15-minute opening range breakout. So what we look for to trade this is a break below, could be setting up for a short, or a break above, could be setting up for a buy. Guys and girls, we have anything? Yeah, we got 57 out. My next spot in the futures will be down here. Previous week high at 67.57, which is down like 7 points from here for a little trade. All right, so I'm keeping my eyes on BMNR, see if we can get a pullback to get long a little bit of that. Gold, where do we like gold, guys? Oh, we have something out right here at 99, don't we? 200 EMA. Let's see if we get the smackadaka in this on this pop down. Bump, bump, bump.
And real quick here, folks, D-Pro, we did snap that $9.90 and $10 resistance area. Look what happened.
Sell gold. We just got 2 points on it.
There you go.
There we go, guys and girls.
Another trade there on gold. D-Pro continuing to push to highs here on that expanding volume and break of the $10 level that we just talked about.
All right. Everybody good in gold, guys and girls? That was our 200 EMA, everybody. Okay. So again, a couple of contracts, just took 2 points out of it, another $300 or $400 on that trade in the futures. And a 200 EMA, guys and girls, is the strongest of our moving averages. 90% of the time when something hits that, I am making a trade. And if you look, we had 5 red bars down in a row to hit that. Next level we would look for in gold now is our previous day close at 38.93, we'll call it. 38.93. Let's pop it out. Trading room, guys and girls. You guys should be done trading for the day. Okay, everybody just go down to the micros now and take a chill pill. All right. Everybody.
How many trades do you have today, Davey?
Guys, what we have? Three good ones? I think three. Three that thankfully all worked.
Amazon and gold are the two that I remember off the top of my head there that were great. And as far as on our side, we had Amazon and TSHA.
Perfect. We had Tesla also for
that's right. Thank you.
$4 off the pivot point, and we had a gold early this morning. So 4 trades.
So just so everyone knows, trading the opening bell with David is really one of the most exciting things. We know that a lot of young retail traders, people new in the space, sit down at their computer in the morning and they're just intimidated by what's going on. They don't really know what's the first thing to do, whether you get a watch list, how do you find the stocks to trade, all that kind of stuff. So that's why we're doing this with you guys at Benzinga and with Apex. Did I lose my connection?
No, you're good.
No,
Can you hear me?
Pete.
Okay. So that's the exciting thing. We do it on Mondays and Fridays, also on our YouTube channel. We do it with you guys on Thursday. So, I mean, it's an amazing opportunity for everybody who is still trying to get their feet wet in this business, or they're intimidated by the openings, because it's hard. You don't know what stock to get into. You don't know how to set up your charts. You don't know how to look for the technical analysis. At the end of the day, technical analysis, it's amazing how it works. Like David just described, it got down to a pivot point. It reversed and went the right way. So it's an amazing thing. You always wonder, how did it know to turn around and go in the right direction? It's just the nature of the beast.
I thought it was going to be because you said you told it to. That's what I thought you were going to say there.
And it doesn't always, guys and girls, okay? Just because we have a level on our
You're right.
chart, it's not going to work every time. So we protect ourselves with our stop orders. That's all. We protect ourselves with our stop orders. All right, here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, okay? In the room, guys and girls, I am canceling all my orders, okay? In the private trading room, if anyone has anything to put out, please let me know and we will put it back out. I have no orders out right now. We're going to take a little chill pill and relax. I know we only got a few more minutes here, guys and girls. So a couple of things, Ryan, if you don't mind, that we
Not at all.
if we can pop up there that I want to do. Number one, and guys, we're not trying to sell you anything today, okay? Period. We don't care. We want to give you as much useful information as we possibly can, all right? So we want you guys, if you want to learn how to trade futures, to go to Apex Trader Funding. Use code WSGTA. And you'll get 80% off. It only costs $33 to open up an account. We are not affiliates of them. We do not get paid for that, all right? But it'll always give you the best sale when you use the code WSGTA at apextraderfunding.com. More importantly than any of that, Ryan, just bop my email in, dgreen927@yahoo.com. Guys, send me an email today. I will give you the link to the private trading room. You can hang out today, starting if you want, tomorrow, and all of next week. All during that week, we talk mostly about futures, okay? And you'll have a very good handle on how to trade futures by the end of the week. We do slow markets every Tuesday and Thursday night with Scotty. That means he is here from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday night, just trading futures. And all of this is for free, guys. Please take advantage of it. Come in if you want to learn how to trade futures. And you can see we trade stocks too. So if you don't mind, Bob, there you go. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
All right, real quick on this here, session highs looks like it's making a run towards 850. Real quickly here on this, one more thing. I've got an 871 high that was put in on September 29th. I think if we break that, it's a quick move to 10. Congrats to anyone that is new to that one. Be sure to take your gains.
Which one is that, Ryan?
ONDS, Oscar, November, Delta,
yes.
Sierra.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Boom chakalaka. Boom chakalaka. Excellent. Great call on that one.
I've been pounding the table on that one since 60 cents, David.
Oh, my God.
My first buy in this stock was $9, just to give you an idea of how a long-term investment can actually end up working and how you got to really control your risk because you don't know when things are going to move. My first 100 shares of that stock were bought at $9.
And then it went to 60 cents after that?
And then it went to 60 cents after that. The story didn't change. The balance sheet had to be taken care of. They were doing the right things. So we used that as an opportunity to add in size when it was under $1. And now we are reaping the rewards of that patience.
Yeah,
by the way, we spell patience with a PAY around here. You get paid by waiting and being calm, taking a chill pill, all of that stuff. Be as tactical as you can.
Yeah, and that's just a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier, where you do not shoot all your bullets on your first shot.
Yeah, it looks like one of the other viewers here, I'm in Ondas from 96 cents. Wow. Pretty good, Zach. Pretty good. By the way, that TSHA broke 450. It's pulling back here a little bit, 475. Your next area higher there, TSHA. Really good stuff.
Okay, guys, in the future, 67.57 is our previous week low. We're going to put a little something out there, 67. And guys and girls, don't be intimidated by hearing futures or anything like that. It's really the same thing as trading anything else, okay? Things got to move a little differently, but I mean, why not take a shot and open up an account for $33? See, I want to show you guys something, okay? And I spend most of my time in my trading room with my traders. I don't even have a lot of time to concentrate on these accounts, all right? This is my Apex account, okay? I've had one account for 48 days, one for 32 days, 20 days, 11 days, and I'm not spending a lot of time there. And anyone who follows us, it's not even a lot of money. It's like, I can't even tell it. It's like $30,000, right? But we don't have to make a lot of money every single day to get these things qualified and to get to the point where you start taking money from them. And again, it's not easy. Brian, I know it's not easy. It takes time, but it's a great way to learn, especially if you don't have the capital, right? I mean, to trade stocks, but for the most part, you need $25,000, which is hopefully going to change now, Ryan, right? Hopefully
Yeah, we're going to get that PDT rule removed. That's right.
Yeah, that would be wonderful for everybody. My God.
I don't know about you guys, but I think that's the dumbest rule on Wall Street. And I have since I started back in 2014.
Yep, I'm with you. 100%.
Now, I know I didn't trade through the .com era. I watched it, but I didn't trade it. So that's where they make the case from it. I think it's a bunch of hogwash, personally.
I'm with you, too. I traded through that .com. Me and Pete, I retired right when the bubble burst at the end of 99, 2000. That was when things started really falling apart. But I can tell you, when we were in the .com bubble, there were so many multi-gazillionaires made because all you had to do was push the buy button. And Yahoo, CMG, all those old stocks. I mean, they went from $1 to $1,000. It was absolutely insane. Problem is, most of the people didn't keep that money because they thought it was going to go on forever.
All right. We got less than a minute here. You guys got any closing words for our group for this Thursday for Futures Forward?
Trade, guys and girls. Come hang out in the trading room for a week. You'll learn everything there is to know about futures. Patience, discipline, stop orders.
Okay. I think that's all really good advice. Looks like Peter is busy. Okay. Real good stuff. David, Peter, thank you very much for the segment here. Really appreciate all of your insight. Great trades here today. Lots of money to be made. We really appreciate it. We will continue to have you folks on Thursday. As David said, check it out.
Thank you, guys. We had a lot of fun.
As always, Peter, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan.
You got it. We will check in with you next week. That is David Green and Peter Tuchman live from the New York Stock Exchange.
Bye, guys.
All right. The David and Peter's departure paves the way for our one and only 13. 13, good morning. How you doing, boss?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just working a few trades here. We got CIGL on the recovery after hitting the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. That's trying to recapture 4. We have a couple of other names moving here. I was pointing out that Vuzix, this one was moving yesterday. This is looking for 4, I think. We have resistance coming up to 4. Now, if you go to a daily chart in Vuzix, I'm sure you can draw this trend line that I'm keeping an eye on. Started from the 7th of, is it the 7th? No, it's the 6th. The 6th of January this year. Draw it through the high that we made last month in September. You'll have your, so you got to go start with January's high. There you go. All the way over there to the left.
This one right here?
That one right there.
Gotcha. Through this one? Bang, bang, bang. Let me clean this up a little bit, 13.
That's what I'm looking for right there. So that's Vuzix.
Oh, I love that.
We also have D-Pro. I was mentioning that one earlier.
Yes, sir. Let me put that up. I'm actually going to step away for 1 sec. Let me put the D-Pro. Oh.
Hey,
sorry.
Good morning, everybody. How about a good rocket entry level? I'll get to rocket in just a tick here, but don't you worry, Joseph. We'll
okay, be right back. 1 sec, 13.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. So D-Pro, that one also breaking a trend line here. If you go to a smaller time frame, you can see the. I just used the interest, the regular session highs of the past couple of days to get a trend line going. And wouldn't you know it, we ran up to the trend line and broke over it. That took us up over $11. Trying to hold above $11 now, getting a series of upper shadows. Might get a bit of a reversal here, but if that happens, we're going to want to see this come down to that trend line that we have and the VWAP, which is just beneath it. At least that's what my broker has. So going to want to see D-Pro get that support if we turn around here, which it looks like we might at that. It's about the 1045, 1050 level.
13, real quick. I actually have to handle something here in the home. It'll take me about 5 minutes. Would you mind sharing your charts for just a moment while I step away?
Sure.
It's borderline emergency. So let me just take care of this real quick. Yeah, and I'll be right back.
I'm just going to get D-Pro going here, and give me 1 second while I turn on all these wonderful little moving averages that we use. Okay, and then I need to share my screen. Second. There we go. All right, so there's that. Close this. We are looking at D-Pro right here. Now, I don't have that trend line that I was talking about drawn, so let me do that. Actually, we want to look at this through a 5-minute window here. So you can see the highs from this regular session yesterday and then the day before. So we're going to take those highs, roughly right about there, dropped through that one. And then you see the price action we got this morning where it ran right up to that trend line. Initially it was resistance. We ended up popping over it. And now we're seeing a series of these upper shadows here up at around that $11 area. So we're getting that reversal as I was pointing out earlier. And now we want to see the, I don't have the VWAP turned on. We want to see the price come down and get support right about that area around 1045 or around where VWAP is. We get that, we hold above this area, maybe trade a little bit above it, but ultimately close right above that. Could see some more upside here. Just keep in mind the RSI is getting is a little bit high up here still, so we do want that to cool off. Want that to come down so we can form a little bit of a base and move higher. So that's what we're looking for here with DPRO. Let's wait for that to come in. All right. So you wanted me to look at that Rocket for an entry level. So let's take a look at that. So RKT. And this one kind of looks like we're going to break this low that we made here. That's just kind of the formation that we have here. You get this initial bounce of recovery, unable to recapture this area of consolidation, rejected, lost VWAP, and now we're heading lower. I'm thinking we're going to likely lose this 18, 14, 15 area. Looks like $18 is coming up next. And $18 for Rocket, that is the IPO price all the way back when this first started trading. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about here. So here we go. This was the first day it opened and started trading. It was in August. The IPO price initially was $18. Ran up quite nicely, as a lot of IPOs can, all the way up here. You'll see my little notes here regarding this movement. Related to the big earnings beat, they had a special dividend. And then, of course, this was the era where the meme stocks emerged. And this was one of the victims that was caught in that movement. So a little history lesson there for y'all if you remember that. That was a fun time to be alive, but also crazy, crazy stuff. So that's what we were looking at there for the IPO price, $18. And we have all these different resistance levels to watch for here. So if there's going to be a bounce coming, 18 could be it, but I don't think I'd kind of rely on that. It looks like we could lose at $18 level, but if there is going to be any support coming, I think $18 might provide that for you. We also have the 65 daily EMA, this one right here. That could be the next area of support. So $18 doesn't look too bad, especially when you have that EMA right there. But remember, this has turned bearish on us. And I think you might still see some lower prints beyond 18. So as far as the day trade goes, maybe there's a bounce that you could trade at 18, but I don't know that you're going to see it completely reverse and go higher. That's just kind of my thought on it. But pay attention if you're looking to trade this. See what happens at 18. You feel like it's actually reversing intraday and turning around and going higher. That's your decision to make. All right. So what else do you folks want to look next? Market Sniper mentioning TSHA. Smell, no problem with the with DPRO. That's great. I'm glad you caught that. Thoughts on MRVL? So I'll look at TSHA and MRVL. So let's take a look at that. TSHA, Taysha Gene Therapies. I'll look at this formation. So kind of the opposite to what we were just looking at with that last one with Rocket. So you have a bit of a scallop here. It's where it runs up, kind of comes down, makes a bit of a rounding bottom, and then it takes out that high with a big volumetric move. So we want to see this high that we made in the pre-market get absolutely demolished right now. Here we go. Hopefully this starts happening here. Where does this potentially go if that breaks out? Gosh, what a nice looking candle that is today. So the next resistance area we're coming up to right about here seems to be $5 back from, and I may have mentioned this earlier in the chat, 2022. So the March low there and the August high there, right about in the same area. I'm thinking $5 looks like a pretty interesting spot for resistance. So that's where I would think this goes and potentially gets rejected. But we're also going to want to view that $5 area as a breakout level. But you're going to need a good amount of volume in order to get through that. So that's just something to watch out for. Let's put a horizontal line there at $5.
Is that TSHA?
That is TSHA.
I guess so.
So that's what I'd be looking for next is a $5 hit in TSHA. All right, let me turn this back over to you.
Got it.
All right.
Thank you for the cover there. We are fine. I really quickly just wanted to check in. We talked about the news earlier, but obviously this is working here for Ondas. We are through that resistance area there. I had that value at 871. We ripped through that. 9 tests coming here on Ondas, folks. Nice day.
All right, and then there was another one I was going to look at after TSA.
Rockets, I thought.
I already looked at that one.
Okay.
Sorry, just give me a second here.
Take your time.
MRVL, Marvell is the one I was looking at next.
Okay.
All right. So, and I can just look at this one on my broker now since I'm not screen sharing. So it looks like we already hit a resistance area this morning around 86.50. Looks to me like this is the second attempt to try and make a move through that. So if the volume does increase from here, we could see a breakthrough that 86.50 area. Look at a larger time frame to see what this looks like. So that was that was a new high from since March. So we're approaching March 2025 levels right now. Looks to be from this price action back in March, the 91, I want to say 91 and 80 cents. Kind of odd that it's right at that particular area, but 91.80 appears to be a resistance area in MRVL.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see in that too? Okay.
Yeah, it's right over. It's right back from like the March area, right? Yep.
Yeah, got consolidation there before it had that gap down. So that and interestingly, we haven't really filled that gap back to the upside. That actually doesn't quite fill. If you're looking at the open from that day, the real body from the day before that drop, that is actually around 88.52.
Yep.
So we're just shy of that. That could be a potential resistance area prior to that, but still like the 91.80 area as well.
Okay. Easy Java saying that Marvell has insider buying as well. We take a look at that indeed. September 25th.
Oh, yeah.
CFO, president, and this was what, the COO, I think. Yeah, president and COO. Lots of insider buys. That's a good mention there, Easy Java.
Yeah. And those aren't small buys either.
No.
So you have the CEO picking up over $1 million in that. You have the president and COO, the chief operating officer. That's he bought over $500,000 in the stock, and then you have the data center group president Sandeep, and then the CFO of this company, both picking up over $250,000 worth of the stock. So insiders buying, over $2 million in stock. That's pretty good insider buy, I'd say. Rigetti up 12% on volume. Nice. Hey, Jane, you're trading Rigetti. Well done.
Well done, Jane. Well done. You earned yourself a register ring.
Looks like MRVL continuing to push up here. You'd love to see it. All right, what else we have going on here? So CIGL, that's one of the movers from this morning. It looked like it was getting some movement, but it's still continuing to have a hard time with $4 since it lost it in the pre-market. So if we lose the 200 EMA, this is probably going to be something that we're going to be done with for the morning. Maybe it comes back around later.
You're right, 13, and we actually already had one trade off of this 200 EMA. I had called this when we came in and tested it. It basically went to VWAP but could not get through it. And look, folks, this is exactly what we anticipated from what we saw in the pre-market. So that's exactly why you would use that VWAP as one of your exit points, if not your entire exit point. Stock had not shown you that it had the strength to get above that, and on the successful trade, still didn't. Since then, we've wicked up to it. Can't cross it.
I've also been talking about Redwire this morning. This saw some nice movement. Looking for $10 this week. Might even get it today. We'll see if this can make that final 13-cent push up to the $10 level. Currently getting some support from VWAP, but the volume has really dissipated since this morning, since it opened here. So don't know if we're going to get that move. It looks like we could, but we need to see that volume kick in and take us up to 10.
I don't know what's going on. I can't resolve that Redwire chart for whatever reason.
All right, so let's see. What else is everybody looking at? We only have about 17 minutes left before volume really does kind of leave the market, and we need to be a little bit more careful, or even sit on our hands if you want. We have a halt fest in what? Excuse me. In what, Daniel? BTTC. And then I'll look at LAC after this. BTTC. So Black Titan Corp. Now what this is that you're looking at here, I don't. Do you have anything on this? I'm having a little bit of a, it seems like I'm getting a chart issue.
Yep. Nope. Me too. Let me report.
Okay. Let me look at this to my broker. Maybe I can get you some information there. So this is halted, and it's halted at 9:30, not the time, the price. And let me just look and see where this potentially could run to. I don't even know what the news is. Let me see if I can get it through here. Merger with, okay, so Titan Pharmaceuticals completes merger with Black Titan. So I guess this is what, a new entity now? Sorry, I don't have more information on this. This is a little bit of a new thing here for me. So let me, and I either have to read it or just kind of give you some levels. I'm just going to give you some levels because I feel like reading it, the information about it is going to send me down the rabbit hole. So,
what's the ticker? I can try and scan for it.
BTTC.
BTTC. Got it.
Yeah. So it looks like, I mean, it's talking about in my broker here. It's talking about it, completing a merger. Don't know what the details of that merger were, but I'm sure if you find the forums that discussed it, you'll get a better idea of where this could go. What the details of those merger are. It seems like $10 is possible, but this area that we're in right now, this has been a pretty frequent resistance area going back to 2023. We haven't really hit this area in over a year, but when we were hitting this in 2024, this was an area of rejection, frequent rejection. So going to need to see some big volume in order to get through this. And there's a lot of consolidation back from the summer of 2023 that this is going to have to work through right in this area. So we'll see if we end up getting that. Next resistance that I see, if we manage to work through this the supply zone, it's going to be at about 1250. So we'll see what we end up getting out of the halt.
Yeah, I didn't find any news on that. At least I just did a kind of a cursory glance at some of the recent news. Didn't see it there. By the way, TSHA, this pulled back to its VWAP. It's kind of toying with that level right now.
Oh, yeah. You get a bit of a higher print, but it looks like the sellers really stepped in, didn't it? And 15 minutes left. I mean, there's I'm not sure that there's a whole lot of great trade setups happening right now with the way that volume is kind of fallen out of off the market here. I don't know that I'd be forcing anything or even trying to take things that look like, even if they look like they have setups, if the volume isn't there, then it's probably not going to happen. MNTS.
I don't see a whole lot of volume here. I don't see really anything going on this one.
Nope. Seems like a lot of the volume already left the market ahead of the 1030 print. So with MNTS, there is looks like there's a resistance area at 138. You see this area back from, it looks like this was yesterday in the pre-market. That 138 area was what we hit. We also hit that in the pre-market here. We also hit it in the regular session. 138 looks like the resistance level to break. And if we do, then we have a lot of consolidation in the pre-market prior to that, 2 days ago, where there was just a lot of back and forth that took us up to 150. So a lot of consolidation, a lot of potential supply in that area. Probably one of the reasons why we're not being able to get gas beyond 138. So just keep that in mind. However, if we do manage to see a move through that next resistance, we do have levels from when we ended up trading this previously. 160, 185, and $2 would be the next resistance areas after that 150 area.
TSHA, we are right here at the 436 VWAP test. I've got it at 437 in my broker. It's pretty much right on. If it holds here, maybe there's a bounce play. If it breaks down, I would target 4 as your next downside level.
D-Pro. Again.
Want me to bring up D-Pro? Ondis making the scanner now? I bet it is.
So D-Pro coming back underneath VWAP, looking for support, probably around that $10 area where it was resistance yesterday, like, in the regular session and the after hours. This is let's see, the float's okay on this one, but remember, volume needs to happen here with these or we're not going to get the trades. And right now, this doesn't seem like it's really getting the volume. The best volume candle that you had was all the way back at 955. We haven't really seen anything like that since. So we need to see more volume in this one, or else we're not getting back above, or not going to hold above 10.
D-Pro, this I think we're in the stage here, 13. Really good job with the levels, but we're in the stage here where I think we should kind of wait this out and wait for it to confirm that support level as opposed to trying to catch the falling knife. That's just my gut feeling on this one. Yeah.
I like I said, I don't feel like there's anything we really want to try and enforce into a trade.
I agree with you. Yeah.
It's probably going to be a losing proposition. Let the volume emerge. Let the trades come down to some support levels and see if the volume starts to come back in. We don't want. I mean, and we've seen these plenty of times. Usually, right after we end this segment, some of these names run. I think Pally did that yesterday, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Right after we ended the show, that stock said, "Okay, they're off," and then it took off.
Chicago Realtor, welcome back. Asking Ryan in 13, what is the next level for Rocket? So I know that you covered this earlier, 13. I'm sorry that I missed that there. Looking at Rocket here, I actually have 18 as the level. I know we're at 1797 right now, so technically we're a little bit beneath that. I'd really like this candle to close above 18 here today. That would be my next level. How about you, 13?
Yeah, as I was pointing out earlier, that $18 level is the IPO price back from 2020. And I also see that we have the 65-day SMA right beneath that. Those are going to be the two areas where we're going to see support kick in, or we're going to continue to head lower. And if we do, it looks like maybe 1770 could be a potential spot. But man, losing that $18 level is not great in my opinion.
No, it isn't. I agree with you.
So if we if that ends up happening where we close the day under 18, I would think that potentially some more downside is coming. But we need to see that 65 EMA on the daily hold up, and it looks like we are trying to recover 18. But it's again volume. We need to see that volume.
Now they had news yesterday on the Mr. Cooper merger, didn't they?
I don't know. Let me see here if they did.
No, they did an offering. It looks like
they complete the historic acquisition of Mr. Cooper. That newsprint came at 453.
Yeah, it looks like they also.
Oh no, there's also earlier news at 750 that morning. Closed 14.2 billion acquisition of Mr. Cooper. So that PR there will probably tell you everything you want to know.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
They also recently closed this acquisition of Redfin in July. Yep. So together with Mr. Cooper, Redfin and Rocket's capabilities expand the entirety of home ownership, home search, financing, title, closing, and servicing. These acquisitions allow Rocket to build on its $500 million investment in data and AI technology and furthers its mission to help everyone home. Now, it's interesting because they did kind of have an AI realtor that they, I think they released last year. Wasn't that what the...
Yeah,
we were talking
about that. Yeah, that was part of our thesis for it. Yep.
So Rocket really shaping up. I mean, and this has been the case with a lot of big names talking about it. It really is shaping up to be a behemoth in the real estate industry, and it's got some pretty good short interest too. I mean, see, so there's always that potential for a squeeze in this thing. 47.5 of the float is shorted with 4.4 days to cover. That's almost exactly what we want to see. We want to see more than 5 days, but man.
And we actually had that tick up by about 1% from the last reading to this current one. So it looks like that short interest is increasing, albeit slowly.
All right. So what should we be looking at now? Because I feel like we're going to be looking at just a bunch of slow moving, trying to recover stocks at this stage. Look at BTTC. This thing continues to gap up on halts. $11 now.
And this thing came from under 6. Wow.
Okay. Congratulations if you got that one.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and like I said, I don't know where this party ends. Maybe it's around 15, 14 and a half, 15. I don't know. I think I'd be guessing if I tried to give you some levels because it could just blow right past that. But I just think it's an interesting spot, this 1450 area, because if you look to the left in 2023, this is a pretty solid area of support for months, actually going back to 2022. But then it finally lost this area of support in June of 2023, and it has not been able to recover since. There was one attempt that it did back in August of last year, completely rejected. So that's going to be a big area to watch for as this stock recovers, BTTC.
And Rigetti Spaghetti, this is up 16.5% now. Kathy just told us 3 seconds ago that it was up 15%, and it continued to go higher here. All of the quantum stuff today is bananas. Here's your IONQ. This is up almost 8%. Big moves here in the quantum names. What I want to know from the group is, where's the spot to short these? Where's the spot to buy puts on these crazy quantum names?
And what hasn't been moving. Well, it looks maybe it already had the move yesterday, but LAES, there was some news about how they're giving an opening keynote at IQT Quantum and AI Summit that's supposed to happen on the 20th. So it hasn't moved on that news, but maybe it will later. This is supposed to happen at the summit that takes place in New York from October 19th to 21st. And the keynote speech is scheduled for October 20th at 9:35 a.m. Eastern.
Maybe that's one of the quantum laggers and still has another move to go. PL, by the way, it's a good mention here, Izzy, and Parker's Thinkorswim Custom Indicators. PL here right up towards this, 1475 resistance area, up 6.5%. You also mentioned ASTS, so some of these space plays also working.
Because we were mentioning Redwire earlier. A lot of these space plays doing really well today. So here are the ones that are winning, and it's a pretty good list of winners right now. ASTS approaching 6% up for the day. Iridium, that's it's up 2%, but that's still nice. Cooler up over 8.5%. Lunar up almost 5%. We were getting some bearish trading action with Planet Labs. That seems to have turned around. Momentous is climbing up over 1%. We also have Redwire, I mentioned earlier, that's up over 3.5%. Rocket Lab, one of my favorite ones in the space theme, up over 5%. And then the remainders of the space names are trying to reach 2 or stay above 2%.
Huge moves higher here. Easy Java says, wait for Jensen's negative comments on quantum. That's when you short the quantum names. I will see if we even get those. He already did an about face on that, didn't he? I wonder if he does that again.
What he'll probably say whatever he needs to try to make sure NVIDIA stock continues to rip. Yeah. There's a lot of things that he's been saying lately that I just feel like I need to call BS on.
Okay. All right. Amazon, that's continuing its move now, 220. I got to say, Marcus, this was one of the really good calls here of the day. 219 on that pullback. You said this had bottomed. It bounced right off of that now. Full point move here on Amazon. Actually, it looks like it's got some strength. We'll see if that continues. Really good stuff there, Marcus.
All right. So maybe you are getting a little bit of a move here in LAES, but we'll see if that picks up any more momentum. What are we? Okay, so ET3 is liking A-Lab.
Yep. I'm looking at just some of the options here. CoreWeave actually kind of having a mediocre day here, really just up only 1%. NVTS, someone was mentioning this earlier. This is bull flagging here, doing a really good job trying to stay above the VWAP. I beg your pardon. We'll see if it can get above the intraday high, put in there 835. NVTS. Tesla still at the lows.
All right, so A-Lab, let's take a look at this real quick because ET3 wanted to look at this. It bounced off the 50 on the 1-year chart and looking like it may bite into the gap down from the 23rd. Overall, it looks like a solid company. Let's take a look. So this is more in semiconductor names. AI and cloud infrastructure. How are their financials looking? Let's take a look here. Looks pretty good.
Really quick, 13. Daniel, I can completely agree with you. The TSHA setup looks awesome here today, but the volume is just not cooperating. We would love to see this go the other direction and expand, and I think we have a really good chance at taking out 475 again, then maybe that intraday high. Good stuff on the Amazon scalps. Izzy, way to go. ANGX could call market sniper as that pushes away from its VWAP.
Now, for A-Lab, do you have the trend line that we drew with this still?
A-Lab. Well, I've got two charts here, so let me check. Here's it's a daily trend line that we had, right? Let me check my bigger chart here. Give me a sec. Looks like that was just a chart hiccup that we saw earlier too, 13. Didn't look like they were down. Here's the trend line I think you're asking about.
That's the one. So, and yes, you're right, that BT3, that bounce off the 50-day SMA, we're approaching the 20-day SMA, and I think that's going to be the next resistance area. If we do end up reversing and going back down to this trend line, I think that could be a little bit concerning. It may start to indicate a bit of a bearish pattern. So don't know how soon that's going to happen. The next thing that I think I'd be watching for is what happens with that 20-day SMA. That's interestingly right exactly at 220 right now. So I certainly think that we could end up going up there and testing that. Whether or not we break through, I don't know for sure. I do see that there could be some resistance just above it around 225 to 227 or 8. But I think just to, in the short term, I'd be focused on what happens with that 20-day SMA.
Yeah.
Really great move off that 50 though.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The other thing, 13 here, the longer it stays in this area, the more it's going to form kind of a very steep head and shoulders.
Right.
So I'd really like to see it recapture that for just another reason here. Tara is asking, Ryan, can you make one of your wonderful trend lines here on TSHA? Yes, I can. So what we'll be looking at here for TSHA, if we do break that, I'm basically just going to connect these two highs, right? Our pre-market high and our intraday high, which is slightly higher. This gives us the target. TSHA pushing now, and I'd like to see some more volume here, but it is pushing 475, your next spot there, TSHA.
Since you like trend lines, I think I have another one for you in TSHA.
Okay.
So you have to look at a daily chart, and you have to start from the September 2023 high. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. I've been over the place with the charts, but let's see if you have that on here. But you start with the daily chart. You go to the September 2023 high, and you're almost there. Uh-oh. You get cut off?
Yep, sure did.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe
but I think I see where it's going. It's basically originating. Where does it end up? Where does that trend line end?
Relative to today, it's going to be at about 507, 508.
Okay, so pretty much right there. Wow, that's really close.
Now,
one sec. I'll be right back. Sorry.
The thing I mentioned earlier about TSHA was the price action from March of 22 and of August of 22, because that was it was this $5 area was being tested as support previously, lost that level, and made some really big downside moves in April of 22. And then as it rebounded and came back up, that was the big resistance area, was rejected. And as I was saying earlier, we have not been trading back up at that $5 level since then. But with these this trend line that I have here, this horizontal line at $5, certainly looks like $5 is where this price wants to go next. So we need to see that strength continue. Now, I will say that this daily chart is looking a little bit of extended. So it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect some pullback here in TSHA, but you want to see this $4 area hold up. I think we want to see that act as support. We don't want to gap fill down. But this RSI at 77, making this look a little bit extended. Still think $5 is the big resistance area we want to get to. Just don't think we're going to see that soon. Maybe later this month or this year. But I think we need to see the RSI cool off first before it makes that move up to 5. Jonathan Huerta, you're mentioning BTTC, so back to that one right now. Is that open again? Nope, not open yet. So we're still. This is halted. It's kind of been a halt fest this morning. I don't know how many halts you're showing, Ryan, but I think we have 3 halts for BTTC.
Correct. I'm showing 3 halts. That's exactly right.
All right. So that one, we're just waiting for this to unhalt, and don't know how much time we have left on there. So. Ryan, do you see what time that last halt was?
Yes, sir. Last halt here, 10:21:57.
Okay, so we are about maybe 3 minutes away from, if this is a 15-minute halt, 3 minutes away from this potentially opening. So once that opens, we'll end up seeing what we get. But be very careful with this one. We could end up gapping down. just as much we've been gapping up. Very volatile one this has been, but it should be some profit taking at some point. And I don't know where this ends because I don't know what the parameters of that merger deal was.
Jay mentioning that Hood was buy the dip. Indeed, here we go. Hood trying to pop higher. This thing is just absolutely crazy. Izzy mentioning that Netflix is at the low of the day. Remember, Izzy, we're just trying to be patient for our price here. Netflix not quite at the 1100 level. I have the low of the day at 1134, by the way. And IVDA, sorry to interrupt you again. Market Sniper mentioning IVDA. This did finally move through its VWAP. It appears as if it's trying to push away, but I think, again, we would like to see that volume expand here.
Every time that we mention Hood, I always like to look over and see what Bull is doing. This hasn't really been able to get out of this sideways channel quite yet, though I think it might be not too far from now. It might be able to make that move. We are getting support from the 65-day SMA following this reversal that we had this week, where we ended up going up to $16 on what was this a couple days ago, and then we just reversed and we were selling off. So now we're getting some footing here from and support from the 65-day SMA. EMA. And if we do get this reversal, I'd be looking for a recapture of 15. I think we may have a little bit of a breakout here. You could also draw a trend line from the July 24th high through the August 18th high. And that's the trend line I think I'd be keeping an eye on for a breakout. And it's right about $15.
Is this? No, this isn't IVDA.
No,
sorry.
This is Bull.
Bull, right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I would say we talked about this the other day. I understand that there are some relations here, but I would not compare Bull to Robinhood. They're
not comparable, really, because Hood's making some moves that Bull isn't yet. But they're kind of behind. So it was it's through that big red top. So you have the start.
So it's this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So we kind of there you go. So you see we did move over it, then we lost it. Now I think that's going to be a resistance area on the way back up. So and that kind of puts it right about $15 as resistance, which I do like. That's what I'm looking at here with Bull. What else do we want?
And real quick here, I have to highlight this because this is awesome. Jay was talking about a pullback on Hood getting bought. Catherine saying, what dip in Hood? It did. It traded down for 1 day, Jay. Literally 1 day. Barely even traded down before the dip buyers got rewarded. Catherine, I can relate to this. I can relate to that for sure.
Yeah, if the market does end up coming in, I think we've been talking in happy hour about this. This does look like one of the better ones to try to short the bull ETFs.
Yeah,
or this one, directly. That and Palantir, I think that was a great mention. So something to watch for here. This could be a good short one day, but it doesn't appear that day has come yet.
Hey, guess what, Brian? Good mention here. BTTC opened, and then rehalted already. So. Yeah. We couldn't even check on it in time. Sorry about that. Good mention though.
Yeah, and I think that was right about the time we were looking at this to open here. So that was great that we had this on our radar prior to that unhalt. I think I need to look and see what this ended up doing as it relates to some of these other days of price action here. Or actually, are we in blue sky territory with this? No.
D-Pro, good mention, Izzy. D-Pro turning around here. I've got that VWAP 1039. Maybe we pushed through this. So far, it did actually hold that 1019 area. That's going to be your 15 EMA on the 5. It has held that so far. Maybe this does trade up here. I'm not in this, but good mention, Izzy. Good morning, Smoke Tuna. It's great to see you. Hope y'all are well.
Got to recapture that VWAP. BTTC, still thinking, okay, so I forgot that we were already talking about this previously. That level that I mentioned earlier, that $15 area, $14.80, $15, still looks like that's going to be the next big resistance area to watch for in BTTC. All right, so what are we looking at here? It looks like some of the movers.
Pro right to the VWAP. Wow.
Yeah, some of the movers. Oh, really?
Yep. Literally tapped 1039 and backed off there. I've got it at 1040 in my broker. See if we've got the strength to get through it here on D-Pro.
Keep G Pro on the radar, says Tuna. Good morning.
Did you mean GoPro or D Pro?
G Pro.
Yeah, I know. I'm just making sure it wasn't a typo. That's all. Just because we happen to be talking about D Pro.
Let's take a look at G Pro, see what that's looking like. Oh, this looks like a barcode going into the open.
D Pro through its VWAP right there.
Good stuff.
Scalp that one. There we go.
Seems like G Pro looks like it has a 225 breakout coming, but couldn't need to see the volume.
Tuna, what do you think about that 225 breakout?
Yeah, let me know.
And I'm sorry for adding confusion. Now that I look back on it, I probably added confusion to that. I was trying to reduce confusion, but you know what they say about best laid plans, so didn't work there. Let me know what you see about the 225 breakout 13. That looks really good to me. Looks like 225 and then maybe even 236, 240, somewhere in there.
That could be next, yeah. Yeah, D Pro really recapturing that trend line too. Resistance up at the $11 area.
Izzy, you scalped D Pro too? We both did it. Finally. Izzy, you've made a lot of calls here. Sometimes I don't get them. I actually missed an Amazon fill off Marcus's call earlier, I'm sad to say. But we did it. We did it. That was a really good mention there. Register ring, Chewbacca noise, you demand.
So earlier we were talking about D Pro and how we had this run up over that trend line, and then we started seeing these series of upper shadows around 1107. That was your indication to let this thing come back in. Certainly did. Even lost VWAP in the process. It only got support from that after hours high that it had yesterday. That took it up to 1003 because the support that we ended up getting off that selling from the upper shadows took us down to 1006. So that's about the closest it looked to come to some previous price action. Now we're returning around here. So apparently the buyers are in that lower 10 area.
We have some breaking news here for Hood. We have a new fresh meme right off the printer.
Oh, geez.
I absolutely love it. Is that a dip for ants? Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, good stuff. We're having fun here today.
Yeah, I mean,
fun here today.
When we don't have volume, all we can have is fun. That's the way I look at it.
Not a bad way to be, 13. Not a bad way to be.
Got to create your own volume. Just, not with
Jay says D Pro's going up because people are front running the big interview with the CEO.
Yeah.
Jay,
there it is.
The sense of humor is out here today. Let's go.
Breadwire, mentioned that this could see is looking for 10 this week. We're 13 cents away off this high that we made this morning. So curling back up to this 987 area where the high is. Looking for a move through that takes us up to 10. That'd be nice to see today.
Real quick here, this Office Space reference. Kenny Rogers here saying PC load letter. WTF does that mean? Does anyone know what PC load letter actually means? That's the letters the size of the paper, right? So it's telling you to load letter-sized paper. What does this actually mean? That's what I'm curious for. Good Office Space reference nonetheless. QS here, this guy. What is going on with QS again? It looks like a continuation from yesterday, just a slight 3.25% continuation here. QuantumScape shares were trading higher after the company announced a collaboration with Corning to develop ceramic separator manufacturing capabilities for its solid-state batteries. This is the initial news that this was running on. And it looks like you're just getting a continuation of that here today.
Yeah, this QuantumScape, it's trying to break over this July 17th high that it put in here. I think we may have printed slightly higher above it already, but this is going to be a big level for it. And, the unfortunate thing about QuantumScape is its float. It's quite large. It's like a Snorlax of stocks right now. So I think this one is going to have to, you have to be patient with this because I don't know that you're going to get these large moves from these movers when you have a float like this. So just keep that in mind if you're looking to trade this or take an investment position. And it's going to likely move slowly, every time. It might make some big moves over the course of an entire day. Kind of like how it did, yesterday. But just understand that this float is really heavy, and I don't think there's going to be quick trades to be made out of this unless you're willing to exercise some patience.
Okay. Okay, and then Izzy saying, Ryan, when's that interview? That is going to be Monday at 8:30 Eastern. Take care of yourself, Judge. Good to see you today, my man.
Thoughts on USAR, rare earth? We're diversifying our supply chains, so we're not dependent on one country. I think it's a good thing. So that's the first thing that's on my mind. But it looks like $20 is a big resistance area. We are get that from March of earlier this year. This has the potential to continue higher. I mean, just look at this one. Look at UAME. There's another one that I can't think of off the top of my head right now, but I'm sure somebody in the chat will remind me of what it is. It looks like it has the potential to go higher. And as long as there's no, rare earth trade deal or something solid with China, then this has the potential to move higher. I think one way or the other, it's still going to go up. Because if we're looking to not be reliant on other countries for one particular resource, then I think moving mining operations, refining to other countries, or even this country, like our president wants, that's going to be good for companies like this. USAR, UAME, I think these still have more room to go. Just don't know how they're going to trade.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. Someone asked earlier about taking a look at the crypto chart. I could not fit it in at that time. I'm sorry we ran over that, but we can absolutely take a look at that now if you want. BTC/USD. There we go. Let's get the Bitcoin price up here. It's been a bit since we have charted this. Does look like we're kind of consolidating here in between this, 109,000 and 120,000 range. I have 120,000 on the futures. I've got the next target here at 128. Sure looks like we're in an uptrend here. I would imagine that 128 is probably next.
Intraday chart doesn't look great. It does look like 120 was next, but I think we may have already tried to hit that this morning and were rejected. Yep. The high that we have today is 119 at 8.99. So, basically $101 away from that 120 mark that you're looking for. But this price action here we got this morning looks like a double top to me intraday. I don't know that we're gonna come back up maybe tomorrow, but intraday double top really weighs on stocks and other asset abilities to get back up to where to those prices on a technical level. Maybe something comes over the news wire that pushes all cryptos up. I don't know, but for me, this doesn't look great.
BTTC reopen, move up to 1596, rehalt 13, and Ondas pull back to its VWAP.
So it took out that 15 area. So no idea what's going to go on with where this party ends with BTTC. I guess just hold on and have fun if you're in this. But I think it'd be a good idea that you pay yourself. So we are in the thick of the supply zone from 2023 now.
Could a Marcus asking about ON? That's going to be On Holdings. This is the shoes, right? I always get this mixed up. ON is the semiconductor. ON is the shoe company. It's funny, Marcus. I actually need to buy a new pair of shoes. My current On shoes have worn through on the heel because I do so much walking. But that's not going to matter for your trade. Is this a support area? Well, yeah, it definitely looks like it held 40 here. My trade, if I had one here, my trade would be against 40. I do think that this 60 area kind of looked like a double top. I understand we poked through it here, but I'll tell you what, that 60 area looks like, what formation is this? Is this a formation 13? It looks like kind of a topping formation.
Yeah, it kind of does look like a double top.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably looks even better if you go to like a weekly or a monthly chart.
Marcus saying it has more than shoes. It's a great company. That's true. That wasn't the comment. I'm only have experience with the shoes, but I do like them.
I feel like this. Okay, so on a weekly chart, this thing looks like it's going to go to 35.
Okay.
It just kind of has that price action. Maybe there's support at 37, but to me, 35 looks like the spot. Let's look at the monthly chart. Wow. So you have the 50-month SMA and the 200-week SMA pretty much in the same area. They're underneath 35. Let's see, the 200-week is at 34.22, and the 50-month is at 34.72. I don't think it's much of a coincidence those two are in the same area. I think we're going to be wanting to pay attention to those moving averages. That area down there, just under 35. I think that's going to be the support area that has to hold. That's what I'd be looking at.
Trend right now down across all time frames, short, medium, and long term, absolutely in a downtrend. As far as our proprietary rankings go, the only good score it has is growth, which makes sense. All of the other ones kind of poor. So maybe that 35 area is next here for ON.
That's just what looks to be the best area of support from here. Do I have any crazy levels, Daniel? Are you referring to BTTC? I think you might be, because that's really the crazy one that we've been looking at today, right? Let me see what I got for you, because there's a bit of a discrepancy between what I'm getting here on Benzinga and my broker as far as levels go, but I'm sure that's probably a split adjusted issue. Let's take a look here at my broker and see what I got. No way we're going to go up that high.
That's the first thing that you saw there.
Yeah, because it's saying that my broker in 2015, this thing was $36,000, and I was like, yeah, this is a split adjusted issue. So anyway, let's look and see what could be next here. Nothing I like there. I'll get you. Just give me a tick. I'll get you some ridiculous levels in BTTC, and then if we end up hitting them, we can laugh together.
It's still halted, so you got time on that. TSHA, by the way, trading sideways here. That trend line as a target still in play.
Yes, Jay Rice. Hey, Ryan, do you want to maybe talk a little bit about DKNG and the call I made on that?
Why don't you talk about? I don't remember all the details.
Because dang it, I'm doing something with BTTC.
Okay, let me see if I can find it here. Hang on.
Well, anyway, it was at back on September 18th. I said this might be a great put play because that's the day where we got that short report. And I read it and I liked it and I thought this might be a great idea, and it was. And
it's funny too because we've talked about short reports often being buyable. This one wasn't, and I think you had another call here where 15 to 20 looks to be the next downside target from where we're at.
Well, let me finish with BTTC and I'll bring all that up. So sorry, I'm just trying to find something here about ridiculous levels. I mean, I don't think that we're going to see 220. I mean, you tell me. You think we'll see 220? I don't think we'll see 220 in BTC.
$220?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's not impossible, but I don't think we'll see that today. If we're going to continue with this, craziness, the next two, I think 17 is could be next. But if we're going to talk crazy, let's talk crazy and say 32. That seems like that could be a crazy level. And if you look at some of the price action back from 2021 and 2022, that's a similar area, kind of like how you saw with the D Pro.
Yeah, I don't have any of that. I think I see what you mean now with the discrepancy there.
Yeah. So
I don't have that on Thinkorswim either.
Yeah, I didn't know that BTTC could hit 15. I didn't know that could. But maybe that's one of the crazy levels. All right.
Brian here saying this is showing an opening of 1864. It looks like there's a bidder there, Bri.
Right on. I mean, hey.
And Kathy saying that ARK purchased 511,000 shares of BTTC yesterday.
So, okay. So with DraftKings, there's the price action, and maybe you can even see this in the chart. The price action that it's had since it finished with its merger, it's done a couple of things. One, we had a really big head and shoulders pattern that took place, but formed over the course of 2020, 2021, and resolved in 2022. We ended up going all the way back down to the SPAC price of $10. where it recovered and went on a run back up to 50 recently this year, which was looks to be back in March. Let me get an actual day on that, but anyway, February. So February ran all the way back up here. Now it looks like it's starting to put in a second Head and Shoulders pattern. And if this is the case, the neckline that I see here for this Head and Shoulders pattern is going to be at $30. So that's where I think the price is going to be heading to next. Now, when these resolve, that neckline is typically a breakdown spot. So if you hit $30, I don't think it's going to stay above it. I think we're going to lose it. Now, I don't know that it's just going to come back down to $10, but at the very least, I would think 25 is on deck following a loss of 30. The big issue for this company, according to the short report, was that it's getting its lunch eaten by some of these other betting platforms that have better payouts, and the emergence of prediction markets is also hitting this as well. Now, I think Robinhood is implementing prediction markets into their platform. I don't think DraftKings has done that yet, so they may be behind.
Okay. Good stuff there on DraftKings. Really quickly here, Kathy, I'm sorry about that. I screwed that up. ARK purchased 511,000 shares of DraftKings, not of BTTC. Sorry about that, Kathy. I was just trying to go off of that initial comment there.
So they bought that big downturn. Now, I will say that because of how much this is sold off, I mean, look at the daily chart. The RSI is under 17. This is going to likely find some support pretty soon and trade back up, but I feel like we're going to hit resistance at about 37. I don't think we're going to be recovering back over 40 anytime soon. I think there's still some more downside to be had with this. But for me right now, following this downside move that it's had, I'd be looking for some, maybe some volatile price actions going sideways before it heads lower. That's kind of what I'm anticipating here with DraftKings next. I do think lower prints are coming following that consolidation.
Okay, good stuff. BKKT getting a mention here as this being a massive runner here today. We actually did bring this up early right after the open, but it has taken the next leg higher here, $45 now.
I don't think that I'd be touching this at this stage. I mean, we talked about this one in the breakout that it had.
Yeah.
So you still have you don't have your trend line, do you?
Well, let's see.
You do.
Sure do.
There it is. Look at how that worked out.
That just sent it, man. That was full send on that trend line break, wasn't it? Did we get a back test of this?
No, it said we only got a back test of the high.
No, we didn't.
July.
Yeah,
the July high was the back test, not the trend line, unfortunately. So couldn't get that entry down there under 25. But man, this thing, if you held it into that breakout, you are sitting pretty. Who would predict, that these stocks are going to start to continue to run into over 90 RSI? I don't think I'd be touching this. It might even go up to 50, but even if it does, I think a big reversal is coming. So be careful with this one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's good advice there. Easy Java says, I think Kalshi's killing DKNG. That could be, but
yes.
I think about the problem is I think about the real world here, and it's like, why wouldn't you just use FanDuel or ESPN Bet? Like your sports betting, right? I get the angle. And I agree with it. I think that a lot of these betting companies are going to add prediction market stuff in there, but I'm almost wondering if there's just too much competition in all areas right now for DKNG.
Yeah, that could be it too. And they're spending a lot on on marketing, and they do have a lot of overhead costs. But I do think I agree a little bit there with Easy Java that Kalshi is really hurting DraftKings because they do have a better payout. So that's going to be one of the things. Now, if DraftKings, if they try to match similar payouts, that could be detrimental for the company's operations. So I don't know that we're going to end up seeing that, and that's one of the reasons why I think that Bear Cave is taking a short report, because DraftKings may be a little too entrenched in the way they're operating their business.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. Amazon setting up for another scalp. Might not be done. Dan, you're asking about Hood. I'm not chasing. I'm not chasing things, especially when we're up near all-time highs here. Hood, for me, a buy now feels like a chase. Hood's a stock that we've been watching for a long time here. We've had this trend line, which really originated back in February of earlier this year. And these pullbacks here, these were the buy spots. For me, what would it take for me to want to buy this? I'll pull back and hold, maybe let's call it 135-ish.
Okay, so Hood. Oh, we're looking at Hood now. All right, 1 second.
I was just answering his question. You don't necessarily have to. And Big of Bees, we had news on FICO here this morning. I actually didn't cover that here, but FI's ticker FICO, that's up 26.7%. And I'm sorry, producer, I know you did a really good job with this gold poll. I've been missing it. Results from this poll: do you think we see 4K on gold before the end of 2025? 77% of you said yes. 23% of you said no.
Yeah, that seems possible. All right, so here's Redwire not able to get any further beyond 985. Just had a big loss of the VWAP coming in, looking for support down at 65 EMA. Remember, folks, volume, it's not there anymore.
Gold bouncing a little bit here after a major pullback and reversal.
Kevin, you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining.
Take care of yourself, Kev. And actually, 13, we are out of time. I see why Kev was leaving. We are basically out of time here today. Any closing words for the group?
Well, folks, I will be here all day tomorrow. We'll look for some things that are moving. Hopefully, we do get some a bigger list of movers today. Today was not a great list.
It really wasn't. You're right about that.
We didn't have anything really beyond 70% up that wasn't a penny stock. So looking forward to tomorrow. Maybe we get some better trade opportunities. But until then, folks, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.
13, great job. As always, we will see you tomorrow. We will also have Mark Petrino in the morning tomorrow. So if you want to take a look at some of those charts and see what he says about all that, he will be on in the morning as well. That does it here for today. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Go Cubs, go Tigers. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused,